when a lot of studios trying to start a cinematic universe, only one started at all and has survived, and it made one of the most expensive season finales ever on a movie theater. That was Avengers Infinity War.
Avengers Infinity War. Welcome, everybody, to the last episode of the Monday Show. I am your host, as always, Troy Raul. We are taking it back to the basics. This is the first episode, the second episode when we were doing this live on Google Hangouts. It's bittersweet. Don't think we're going anywhere, though. It's not like we're just ending everything and me and Raul are not going to talk ever again, because Raul and I are in love and we are going to be together forever. So
you're pregnant.
And I'm pregnant with your kids. We're going to have little Mexican kids. Yeah. Which is great. Like, we can grow them into being little maids. They can start making money at a small age. We can throw them in a shoe shop if we really wanted to. We have lots of opportunities for our kids, which will be nice.
You went pretty racist and Coco so fast.
Hey, you're the racist one. Go back to a couple episodes. You're the one that hates white people. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but no.
One of my dreams is winning the lottery and having white mates.
Me too, honestly, man. Me too.
But no, as you guys can see, we have a couple guests joining us today, and this is exciting because they're two brand new people that haven't been on the channel yet. One is a good fucking friend of mine. I've known this kid since grade 6, grade 7-ish. Chase, thank you so much for joining us. This is fun, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, anytime, man. Yeah, it's been a long time since we've gotten to geek out and talk about some movies. I'm excited.
Well, exactly. And I mean, what's better than Avengers Infinity War to do so? And I will say off the top for anyone listening, this is going to be spoiler heavy. Like, we're not going to...
Oh, yeah. Not holding back.
Yeah, not holding back at all. So if you haven't seen Avengers Infinity War, go see it and then watch this.
I want to know how much money Marvel paid Ben Affleck for that cameo as Batman. I was like...
She was insane.
Yeah, right? And like, I couldn't believe they got Inspector Gadget. The fact that Inspector Gadget comes at the end, steals the Soul Stone, incredible.
And Sam and Dean Winchester on the Impala in Wakanda, I lost it.
But no, also joining us today is another good friend of the channel here, a filmmaker, director, Jason. Thank you so much for joining us, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally excited to geek out about this because I've been spamming Twitter basically talking about it the whole weekend.
Well, that's the thing. I noticed that, so I'm like, damn, I got to get you on to talk about Avengers because it's But you know what? Let's just get right into it. Fuck it. Welcome to the very first segment of the show called "There's No Place Like the Cinema." Where do you guys want to start? Do you want to start at the beginning, or how do we want to do this, Raul?
We gotta start from the top.
Oh, from the beginning, but I just want to make this joke first.
Yeah.
Black Panther, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, all of the people with the snap, they will have the easiest cosplay ever because they just need to cover in ashes.
That's actually not bad. I'm gonna do that. Just show up to Comic-Con just fucking drenched in ash.
Dressed in dirt and ashes.
But all right, let's do this.
It's a cheap cosplay. You're not gonna spend much.
You just gotta go roll around outside. You're set.
Let me also. I took a bunch of notes by the way, to like as discussion points. So why don't we just start with those, and then we can kind of give our overall thoughts afterwards. Let's talk about the beginning. We start off this film. Asgard is destroyed. I mean, everyone's dead from the looks
Ragnarok.
of it. Well, yeah, right. Well, not only that, but like that ship at the end of Ragnarok. They killed.
When Thanos found them and just wrecked them. Yeah,
that was incredible.
What announced himself as like a friendly ship.
Well, exactly. So Raul, Jason, what were your guys' thoughts at the beginning of the movie? How it opened up with destruction, you know?
Well, for me, whenever I saw that post-credit scene at the end of Thor Ragnarok where Thanos' ship shows up, I was just like, yeah, they're all dead. I know they're all dying. It
was inevitable too, because in Ragnarok they clearly show that Loki did take the Tesseract.
Yeah.
So
Well, he looked back at it. He was like, "Oh shit, maybe I want that." And then obviously, eventually, did pull a Loki, and he took that shit because he's kind of an ass.
No,
yeah.
The second time I was seeing it, I was with my friend Janine, and I made this joke. I think no one has made it on the internet. They killed Heimdall, the black guy, in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, man. Turned it into a horror movie. I was surprised first. Yeah, no, when I was watching this movie, right in the first little while, I was surprised. Jaw was pretty much on the floor. I was like, holy, they're going to start it off this intense. Like, Thanos just, like, wrecked Thor, obviously. He's lying on the ground all jacked up. He's asking Loki for the Tesseract, which we all know he has. The entire ship is completely blown apart, and it's like, whoa, you guys are going to start this movie off like this. This is going to be quite the cinematic experience.
No, and the thing that I like the most, for anyone that hasn't seen the other MCU movies, they're going to be totally lost if they don't know that this sequence is the sequel of Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Because they don't explain, like, hey, why does Thor only have one eye now? Oh, wait, why are they in a ship? What's going on here? Why is Loki back and, like, in cahoots with Thor? What is going on?
Man, well, if there's anybody out there who hasn't seen at least most of the Marvel movies, I mean, what the hell are you doing with your life? You need to get your ass down,
They're probably
grab some popcorn.
Well, it's the people that are living in the cave, like in Iron Man 1, that don't have internet access, that don't know what the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they don't know what the fuck's going on. But it's true. And I think there is the rarity that people would go see this film not knowing anything. I think at this point, as big as the franchise is, it's people will know. People will know to go see the other movies before. It's been so big for so long.
Or people waiting for the Dark Universe.
Well, and let's just mention this right off the top. How fucking incredible is it that Avengers Infinity War has already made as much money as Justice League did the entire run? Isn't that hilarious? I love that so much.
That's pretty
great.
Because like whenever it reached the end of its run, I was just like, seriously, this is like some of the most iconic characters in comic book history, and they didn't even reach $1 billion. That's just pathetic.
No,
oh yeah.
You know what's happening in Warner Brothers right now? And there's like a lot of people from DC in a room, and they're starting to killing each other like that scene in Mother.
Oh yeah, pack suicide. They're gonna watch the Avengers Infinity Stones, and then just group suicide.
Like that one short part in what was it, VHS2, whatever. They go to that Korea or something like that, and they just start slaughtering each other. And
they must be, honestly, I want to know how they feel, because like $650 million, I think is what it was, right? Opening weekend.
Yeah.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
That's so much fucking money. Like, they must be like so encouraged that like the superhero movies are going strong. They just need to make a plan. I think that's all it is, right? They need a plan.
Wait,
they were really smart about it though. They made it mainstream. That's why it's making so much money, right? Is like they made these superheroes go from just something that like geeks like me, and I don't know about y'all, but like probably you guys like that really enjoyed the comic books and actually read them. And now it's like even these jockey douchebags are going to watch the show. Everybody on the planet's going to watch these movies about superheroes now. It's crazy.
It's funny. That's a really good point, because Disney technically has taken geeks and made them the popular kids.
Yeah, we made it mainstream, right, to like superheroes. Now, I remember getting beat up as a kid for liking superheroes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it wasn't that long ago that it was frowned upon.
Well, exactly. I got fucking bullied in school for liking Spider-Man, and now he fucking dies.
For years. Yeah. And now there's all these crying in the theater because Spider-Man's dead.
No.
Like, fuck y'all, I've been crying for years.
No. Talking about the first scene, my jaw dropped when Thanos was kicking the shit out of the Hulk.
Oh shit, dude.
Yes.
Oh my god. That guy's Muay Thai was on point. Oh shit. He messed Hulk up. And then he messed Hulk up so bad that he had like image issues afterwards. He didn't even want to come out. Hulk's got to have the biggest dick in the Marvel universe, and he didn't even want to whop it out for the whole movie after that. He got dethroned.
No, and also I fell in love with Thanos in the first minute when he did that. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna love him throughout the whole movie.
Oh, did you see Brothers Arms? It's hard not to love that guy. God damn.
That's true. And it's like the fact, and I saw that was one of the complaints I saw some people saying. They're like, oh, the Hulk wasn't really in it. Yeah, that's the point. Thanos is such a fucking bad, scary villain that even the Hulk is afraid of him. Like, are you kidding me? Like if the strongest Avenger, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
The very strongest Avenger, like just like not scared of anything, just complete ball of rage, is terrified by a guy that he fought for like 30 seconds.
Right, and then like even in that scene there, we should talk about Thor. His performance when Loki kicks the bucket.
No.
Oh yeah, no, that was deep, man. I was sitting back in my chair, man. I almost swear to God, I had my hand on my chest. I was like, "Ooh, damn, right in the feelings." God damn.
I was the same. I love Loki so much, and when
he keeps messing up, but he's like your little annoying ass brother that keeps breaking in your room and taking your shit. You still love him, but
exactly.
Just a
little, And Thor's reaction that he knows that was the final time, that he's not coming back.
And he's like, come on, man, I've seen you die like 12 times. I feel like I know when it's it, and I think this is it.
Yes, and also, even with like audiences, they'd probably be like, oh no, he's going to come back. Whenever Thanos says the line, no resurrections this time, that's just like, he's dead for good.
And also,
Did you all like hear that noise though? That noise that sounded off when Loki's neck broke. That was graphic stuff. What did they do to make that noise? Like break a piece of celery in the microphone? That was some nasty shit.
No. Also, I technically saw the movie in a pretty good theater. I saw it in the Art Like Hollywood with a THX sound. So every single sound was detailed. Hey, it was Infinity War. I didn't want it to movie pass it on Thursday. I needed to get my seat. So I paid $22 to see it.
Yeah, it was like almost $30 for the IMAX ticket. Yeah.
Yeah, worth it though, every second.
And also, poor Idris Elba. Idris Elba wanted to say that he had it a bigger role.
But I do think he got lucky, because if you watch that first Thor movie, Heimdall is a character which I didn't expect to be in as much films as he was,
and to be as like vitally important to the plot.
Well, exactly. Yeah. Idris Elba killed it, especially in Thor Ragnarok. I mean, I guess they shoehorned him in near the end when he saved everyone, but his character was. I mean, it made sense that he died. I got it. It gave Thor. I mean, this is fast forwarding, but there's that scene where Thor and Rocket are in the ship. This is probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie. When Thor's like, look, my mom's dead, my dad's dead, my brother's dead, my best friend's dead, I lost my hammer, I have no eye, right? Like, there's that one scene
my
where
fucking sister did this.
Exactly, yeah. It's like, I felt so bad for him. I think
and like you have to sit back and think, like, I watched all this happen to this guy. Maybe there's something wrong with me. Like, I'm just sitting here watching this dude get tortured for like so many movies.
Yeah.
Well, exactly.
But hey, it just adds like that extra feeling to him, right? It makes you like really connect with him on like a deeper level, kind of like really get emotionally involved with the character.
Yeah, definitely. Another part of that scene, like, is whenever he's like telling Rocket of how he's lost everyone, then Rocket's just like, well, I have a lot to lose personally, like me personally. Then by the end of the movie, he literally loses everyone. All the other Guardians are dead.
Yeah, I didn't even put that in.
Groot, man. Oh, teenage Groot, that angsty motherfucker.
No. We can start now. I will be the one that says it. Groot is bullshit. What he was in this movie was shit. It was only for the kids. Like, motherfucker, he had nothing to do. He played a video game the whole movie. Like, fuck off, Groot. Go in your room and shut up. Like, he was annoying. I was like, do something.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Like for pretty much the entire movie, he didn't really do anything. Like you said, he was just playing his video game, kind of being an annoying, like, stereotypical teenager. And then he just kind of randomly looks up and he's like, "Oh, Thor!
Oh yeah, that's true.
Thor, I gotta help you out, dude." And he like cuts his arms off for Thor. That was
good. I like that. Yeah, you're right. I don't know. I thought. I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, they did do very, very well with segregating all of the characters to give them their own moments. And I think that's a benefit of the film. So I would like to have seen more from Groot, but I think
I definitely would have liked to see more from Groot. But I feel like with a character like he was a baby in the last one, so you can play on that in his like adorability factor. But being like growing and going into like a teenage years type thing, and just being able to say I am Groot, like directively, like there's not a lot you can really do with that. So they kind of used him Shakespeareanly. Like just like as comedy relief, so he could just come in and make those stupid stereotypical jokes to kind of break all the intensity, which is, like I said, very Shakespearean, which I actually found throughout the entire movie was actually like very much like a Shakespearean tragedy. I was talking to my friends about it afterwards.
Yes, exactly.
Insane.
I actually said that on Twitter too. Like I said that
the
entire movie is a Shakespearean tragedy, and then like one of my friends tweeted me. He's just like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 dial it back."
Yeah, getting a little too geeky up in here.
Shakespeare,
no, it was great.
It's not geeky. Everybody knows about Shakespeare.
I guess so. Yeah, social studies
hammered down your throat every
goddamn art thou year.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and I think also going back to the beginning, I don't know Thanos' army's name. I don't remember
his kids.
I think it's
his kids, right?
I think it's
who's Squidward?
Black Order, Dark Order, one of the two.
Yeah, Dark Order or the Black Order. Yeah, there's that one guy that has the monologues whenever he shows up to the scenes.
Yeah.
That dude is so menacing, especially when he's talking at the beginning, and Thor's mouth gets covered, right? And he's like just the emotion through his eyes when he's talking. I love that dude. But all of them were great.
Him right away as like a very crucial like villain to the show. Like when he walked onto the scene, you know what I mean? Like even like sitting in the audience watching it as a film, recognizing it's a film. Like when he walked in, I got like chills. I got like shivers. I was like, oh man, don't want that guy in the room with me. That guy was creepy, and like that was the role he played it. Whomever it was, and like whoever like did like the cinematic. His face, like you said, it was perfect.
The CGI, yeah. What did you, Jason and Raul? What did you guys think of the CGI used in the beginning? Also, I did notice too that this is one of the first Marvel movies that had a lot of handheld footage. Like, there's a lot of times that you are there. Like, I think another reason why people connect to this movie so well is because of a lot of the handheld footage puts you in the scenes. It's like you're right there with it happening, so you gravitate
standing
towards
beside
that
your favorite heroes, experiencing the loss with them.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
I would say that the effects would rival something like War for the Planet of the Apes. It's that good.
Yeah, excellent.
For me, the mocap on Thanos in a lot of scenes, especially when he's crying, when he's killing. I'm not gonna say until we get to that moment, but I was like, that mocap was really good. For me, I was not seeing a CGI character. I was seeing a character. That's the thing that I like the most. Like even also Thanos and Hulk, they're almost the same size. I thought that Thanos was a little smaller than Hulk. So that was a really cool also aspect of it.
Thanos was huge. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Thanos is supposed to be like massive. When you read him in all the comic books, he's just like a complete gargantuan.
Yeah. It's like you said, when that fight happened, I felt that I was part of the audience saying, I was like, oh, I have my money on Thanos. Put me 20.
Oh yeah, well, like at the beginning, like he just like laid there and took it from the Hulk because he's like, oh man, like this is nothing. And his kids are just like, oh yeah, let him have his fun. The moment they said that, I was like, oh god, no. Oh man, Banner's got to get out of there. And nope, Thanos got a hold of him and just, oh my god, in like the next 30 seconds, just like smashed him into hell.
Seeing his green blood dropping from his nose.
Yeah, got him bleeding all over the place from that knee. Yeah, no, excellent. And I mean, Josh Brolin, he played Thanos amazingly. Like his voice acting and the whole thing, his whole tone. Excellent choice, I think, as far as Thanos. That was fantastic.
And then we get to see the Hulk already in New York, getting with Doctor Strange.
Before Heimdall dies,
that was a nice transition.
Yes, I agree. So yeah, Heimdall shoots him off to Earth, which causes his death. Thanos is like, look,
his one last big like save.
Yeah. So he has that, and then we shoot to New York, and we're talking with it's Pepper Potts and Tony, right, on the side of the lake.
No, you're.
They're like jogging, talking about how he wants to have a kid now or some shit.
Yeah, right.
That's true.
Iron Man getting older and trying to get out of like all the superhero-y stuff and become like you know, Pepper Potts like husband and stuff.
Whenever I heard that, I like my jaw drop. I'm just like, he's gonna die in this movie.
Yeah, man.
And he was one of the only
ones. He's talking about having a kid. They're like, they're gonna take him away. They're gonna take him away.
Or maybe they're gonna do the telenovela thing. She's gonna get pregnant and then Iron Man dies. That was the thing in my head.
That's probably gonna happen in part 4. Like,
yeah,
he's like.
Well, I don't know. It depends because.
And then she's gonna be pregnant.
I'm curious to see how, like, if Avengers 4 is gonna start right after Avengers 3, or if there's gonna be some time. Because if there's time in between the two movies, then sure, I can see maybe Tony hooking up with Pepper Potts one last time before going after Thanos.
Well, like the next movie is going to be Ant-Man, right? Like, they played it in the theaters like right before. There's several comments by the director saying that Ant-Man was either actually in the movie or is crucial to the plot of the upcoming movies.
I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Ant-Man and the Wasp take place after Civil War?
Yes, after Civil War and probably before and during Infinity War.
Okay.
Yeah. And like that's like apparently it's supposed to like be like a big part of something cool because like they didn't have him in the movie at all, and he's getting his own flick again with him and the Wasp, right? So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I think it's also awesome. I know this is jumping forward too, but another thing I want to mention right off the top, there's a scene in this movie that I absolutely love. It's in the big war scene on Wakanda. Okay.
Oh yeah.
There's the one sequence where it's Scarlet Witch, Michonne, and Scarlet Witch or Black Widow, sorry.
Black
Widow, and they're fighting.
Yeah,
they're all together fighting. I thought that looked awesome. And seeing that, I was like, there was rumors of them wanting to do like an all-female led Marvel movie or something. I would love that. I think that would be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, because like you it's just like a Okoye, Scarlet Witch, and Black Widow just kicking Proxima Midnight's ass, and it's just amazing.
But
yeah,
like,
and then toss her into a blender.
Well, and that's the thing. So like, and tying that back to Wasp, I'm really happy that they are bringing Wasp into the universe more. Because I love seeing these female heroes kick ass. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. We got to bring up this female hero group at the very, very end because of the last cutscene.
Exactly, right? Yeah.
I got some shit to say about that, but we'll wait.
So we go to New York, and Tony is with Pepper. I'm blanking on like the progress of what happens next. So
pretty much.
Is this when?
Then we see the Sectorum. Wong and Dr. Strange are talking that they're gonna get a sandwich, and one doesn't have any money, and then you see the Hulk crashing.
Oh yes.
And then the Hulk is just pretty much says Thanos is coming.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, I thought that Hulk crashes first at the Sectorum. Then we see Pepper and Iron Man talking about the baby. Then Doctor Strange comes up and says,
comes through the portal.
He says, "I need your help."
Yes.
And then
I
like
think
Hulk shows up, and Tony's like, "Oh shit, dog, welcome back to Earth." And since like they're such trusted friends, they worked so well together. When Hulk expresses his concern about Thanos coming, Tony knows right away that like this is a big deal, and he literally drops everything. He was just talking about having a kid with his soon-to-be wife he's gonna marry, and within the next like couple scenes, you know what I mean, he's hopping on a spaceship going who the hell knows where, right, with some creepy Squidward alien looking motherfucker. So you know that's a pretty intense scene that really shows the bond between Tony and Hulk. That's a lot.
Well, I agree, and then also like the fact when Peter Parker shows up.
Yeah.
In that scene in the park, like when Iron Man's just getting his ass kicked, and then all of a sudden Peter shows up. I'm like, yes, motherfucking Spider-Man! Hell
Spider-Man up in here! Yeah, no, man, Spider-Man was awesome in this movie. They made throughout all the movies with Spider-Man in them, they just make you fall in love with that guy, man. He's just like
it's him.
So
it's
and like so relatable. They purposely make you just love the dude.
No, just skipping a little. I think that's my favorite Stan Lee cameo when all of the children were like, "Oh my God, we're gonna die!" Stan Lee was like, "Have you never seen a spaceship in New York before?"
Yeah.
Also, not only that,
awesome.
But even in that scene when Parker's sitting there and then he's like, "Ned, I need a distraction," and Ned's face just lights up and he's like, "This is what I was here for."
Hold on a minute, guys. I gotta take something. I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good.
So Peter Parker's on the bus. That was awesome. I thought.
Oh yeah.
I like Stan Lee's cameo too. What did you guys think of the interaction then between Strange and Robert Downey Jr., the two Sherlocks? I thought that was awesome.
Excellent. Yeah, I liked their little clash. You know what I mean? They're both extremely good actors. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. has been playing this part for years. He's really been able to dive into the character. What's his name? Who plays Doctor Strange?
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, amazing actor. I've seen him in so many things. He's in lots of my favorite shows, lots of my favorite movies. So when you put two quality actors like that together in any scene and have them going toe to toe doing a little banter, it's going to be excellent. And I believe it was performed excellently. They did it just as well. I think just like the characters would. I think they did it justice.
You're wrong, Raul. Benedict is better. Benedict is better. He's a better Sherlock than Robert Downey Jr.
Well, I love
He's a great Sherlock. That's a great TV show.
I haven't seen the TV show, but I love the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock movies. I'm still waiting for the third one.
Oh yeah, man! I saw them all in theaters. Those are great films as well.
Troy hasn't seen them yet. I have told him to see them.
I've not seen them. I want to watch them though. I thought the dynamic between Parker too and Strange and Iron Man at the beginning. I mean, I know this is jumping around a little bit, but even when he's knighted into the Avengers,
yeah, that
scene was brilliant. I thought that was like Tom Holland's performance, seeing his acting, seeing him he is part like Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, like they look like shit compared to what Tom Holland's done with the character. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, this kid was born to do this part. He plays it so well, Peter Parker. Like when he got his new suit and everything like that, or when he's talking to Strange, and whenever he makes a comment, it sounds like Peter Parker. Like when I was reading the comic books as a kid, like it's almost like what I imagined he would be like.
Raul, I'm gonna fire you. I swear to God.
Sorry. For me, it's Toby forever.
Yeah, the OG.
I get it. He's the OG, but Tom Holland just captures that character so well.
Yeah, he does it so well.
So Raul, what's next in
the suit? That was a pretty crucial scene. That was pretty awesome. We got to see Spider-Man's new suit, and we'll have to talk about it later towards the end, obviously. But it is interesting that we only got to see that suit for so long.
Exactly. Yeah. So Raul, what comes next? Yeah, take the lead. I'm not.
Yeah, because it's okay that we're skipping, but there's a lot of scenes. So the next scene is Benedict Wong explaining the whole Infinity Stones thing, which one has their meaning. And Robert Downey Jr. says, Iron Man says, I was like, tell me his name again. And then Bruce says, no, his name is Thanos. We need to call the Avengers. I was like, oh, you haven't been here in a long time. We broke up. Like the Beatles?
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was very well put.
Yeah, man. There's so much, and that's the thing. The interactions with each of these characters were special. It was so special seeing, especially like when. Oh, and like seeing Hulk come back and notice what the fuck's going on, because remember, it's been since Avengers 2 when he left, right? So he had no idea what was going on throughout.
Right, yeah, he was gone for a long time.
He hasn't been on Earth for 6 years.
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
He missed he missed like 10 movies.
Well, yeah, he missed almost he missed phase 3 practically, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pretty much all of phase 3 there he missed. What was the next part after that? It's when they're talking about how they need to get to Vision, right? Because Vision has one of the stones. And then they talk about like only that Steve Rogers knows where he is, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, okay.
On the flip phone.
Okay, welcome back. Yeah, Vision. I think that's the whole scene. So when Vision and Scarlet Witch are together, there was a part of me that I'm like, finally, we get to see them be a couple, right? Because
in the comics.
In the comic, exactly, yeah. I'm saying Marvel, I don't know, like with all their genre films they've been making, give like a director Vision and Scarlet Witch movie and make it a romantic comedy. That movie would kill in box office. kill.
Oh yeah, people love it.
And there is what other superhero movies other than Deadpool is romantic comedy?
My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Remember My Crazy with the one with Uma Thurman and look. Oh, you had never seen that movie?
It. No,
I've never seen it, but I've heard of it.
It's directed by the guy from Ghostbusters.
Right.
The original. Yeah.
Yeah, Ivan Reitman. Yeah. Let me look it up. My Crazy
Super Ex-Girlfriend. I think that's the name of that movie. It's pretty funny.
Oh, I found a show. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know. I think that would be awesome.
Let me find the title, but it's the one with Uma Thurman, and it's a really funny movie. But yeah, then after that we see Squidward. I call him Vampire because he looks like a vampire.
He really does.
You see the ship, and then you see, as we said, Spidey with his Spidey sense on the bus. And then we seen Doctor Strange, Wong, Bruce Banner meeting the vampire in the knockoff Hulk.
Right?
Yeah.
This is in Scotland?
No, that was in New York. New York.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, they're fighting the two brothers, the Squidward dude and the big giant one.
Yeah, I don't know his name. I know the little Squidward guy is Ebony Maw, but I don't know the big.
Yeah. They said it actually a couple times throughout the film. I guess I was too enthralled in the plot. I wasn't paying attention.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that movie that I told you is called My Super Ex-Girlfriend for 2006. It's Uma Thurman, Luke Wilson, Anna Faris, Rainn Wilson, Eddie Izzard. It has a great cast, directed by Ivan Reitman.
Wow. Oh yeah, I've never heard of it.
It's one of my favorite comedies. It's really funny.
Not bad. Actually, speaking of like comedy and jokes, actually one of my favorite little jokes that they put was in that scene where they're fighting in the park there when Wong saves Tony's ass and Tony goes and flies away. He's like, "Wong, you're invited to my wedding." Man, that cracked me the hell up. I was laughing like right out loud.
That was hilarious.
Oh yeah,
that was
laughing out loud. It was great.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome.
Oh yeah.
My favorite joke for that scene is when Hulk is when Bruce Banner tries to convert to the Hulk, and I remember I was like, "You're embarrassing me in front of the wizard."
Yeah, you're embarrassing the wizards. Or when they're trying to explain it to Spider-Man about what's going on. Oh, that guy is here from space to steal a necklace from a wizard. It's like, nice.
Oh my god, that's the most geekiest joke I have ever heard.
Have you ever seen the old movie Aliens?
Oh, that's another thing. Are they trying this movie? I swear, the Russo brothers said, let's try to make Spider-Man what Troy wants to be when he's older, and then devastate him. Because if I was fucking Spider-Man, yeah, I would be making movie references and saying, okay, let's do that. Like Empire Strikes Back, Aliens. Peter Parker is my best friend. I swear to God, I love.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
That's the guy I hang out with in high school.
I like him doing movie references, but even I was talking to my parents of this yesterday because they also saw the movie. They saw the movie without me telling them to see the movie because I always have to remind them of seeing new movies. And they bought tickets to see it on Friday without me even telling them. So that was an accomplishment because they wanted to see it as well. But one of the things that I hated from Spider-Man Homecoming was when he says, "Oh my God, it's like that old movie Empire Strikes Back." I was like, Empire Strikes Back is from the 80s. You cannot say, you bastard, that is an old movie. All movies are from the 60s and afar, 60s and 70s. And when he said that old movie, Aliens, I was like, oh my God, I wanted to.
It's an old movie, though.
I mean, I'm 21 and I still consider that an older movie.
Me too. I'm 20. I consider that an old movie too.
Yeah, I'm 20.
Aliens.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's because you're millennials. And I'm 28. And for me, a movie from the 80s is still not old for me.
That's fair. That's fair. Honestly, Aliens. That's an old movie. I don't know. I like it though. I loved his references, man. I can't wait to see the new Spider-Man. Like that's the movie I'm out of all of the ones now. I want to see how they bring him back, obviously, but I want to see Homecoming again because his character is just the standout for me.
Wait.
Well, they did that on purpose, right? They made you,
millennials.
like I said earlier, like they made you like really like connect and fall in love with the character of Spider-Man because like they took like exactly what you said. They took like all the things that like the super fans like us would want from him, and they gave it to us. They gave us the movie quotes that we love. They gave us all of the funny comments. You know, they gave him a badass suit, and then you know what happens, and it's just that much more emotional, which really makes you love it.
Also, he doesn't just like fade away like everyone else, like Black Panther and Doctor Strange. They pretty much just fade away. He's fucking terrified. He's excuse me for saying that, but
no, of course.
Yeah, he's just like
that was a genuine young person's feeling that he doesn't want to die. I really like that scene.
Yes, exactly.
And I think that's going to be crucial into the next movie because that's going to really motivate Tony to not give up because like he had to sit there and watch this kid that he brought into the Avengers. Like in his mind, he put that kid there and he killed him. So in his mind, Tony killed that kid, right? So this is going to be quite the motivator for Iron Man. And it's also going to play Iron Man's character exponentially, right? Because that's another star, like the New York stuff.
Technically, Tony killed everyone. Because
no, that's wrong. No, that's wrong.
Star-Lord killed everybody.
Star-Lord killed everyone. It's all of Star-Lord.
Yeah, but
exactly.
I'm gonna say.
Man.
I'm gonna say this comment. When Nick Fury said, "When you said to the world that you were Iron Man," talking about an Iron Man 2 thing, it started all of this running of heroes and villains that you started.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
So for me, Iron Man killed everyone.
Well, technically, wasn't Captain America around way before Tony? And he was like the first Avenger.
Also,
so he would have had his powers like a long time ago.
Another thing, I don't know if you guys talked about this yet because we brought up First Avenger. Whenever freaking Red Skull shows up, my jaw dropped to the freaking ground. I was just like,
last thing I expected. Last thing I expected was that guy. God damn.
And they didn't get Hugo Weaving. He's not in the movie. It's Ross. Yeah, he's in The Walking Dead. He plays the character Aaron, which he's like gotten
like generic German guy.
Well, no, but Ross, he's actually an impressionist, so he actually did a Hugo Weaving impression the whole time, which was perfect.
I couldn't tell the difference.
Exactly.
Didn't even know.
I was shocked because I thought it was Hugo watching the movie. I was like, oh, this is awesome. They got him back, but that was incredible.
It sounded identical. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's very impressive.
So let's kind of
also
go ahead.
Because my parents went with me to go see that, and your ear is like it's a Red Skull, and okay.
It's true though. Talking about what Raul was mentioning, if you haven't seen the Marvel movies, if you've never seen Captain America: First Avenger, that would not make any sense.
Yeah, they linked the very first Avengers movie with the most recent one. Like they put a dude in there that you wouldn't know and you wouldn't realize is even important, or unless you've watched the very, very first one, right? So for all these people who are just jumping into it,
and it makes
that
sense.
Would even be a cool scene.
And
that's the thing.
Talking about callbacks. Also talking about callbacks, even Hulk says it was like because the attack on New York in Avengers 1. He was the one that ordered it. Thanos was the one that gave the army to Loki and started everything. And then Iron Man says, I know. I have seen and dreamed about Thanos for the last 6 years. I was like, that was a pretty cool callback for the first Avengers also.
And talking about just overall character developments, I think the character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that his story arc is unlike anything we've ever seen, and that is Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark Iron Man. If you start watching it from Iron Man and then see Iron Man 2, see Iron Man 3, watch the progression of him, especially then in Civil War, Age of Ultron, like Chase was saying, bringing in Spider-Man, this kid into the Avengers, watching him die, from the very beginning, he's had the most development, and I think it's beautiful. Like his whole progression of how he's become and who he's become as a person, is awesome.
Also,
He
technically,
really took a crucial role. He really took lead of it.
Also, technically, Disney got a lot of money back because I heard that Robert Downey Jr. got paid $200 million only for this movie.
Well, put it this way. From my understanding, Avengers 3 and 4 had a combined production budget of $1 billion.
Okay.
I calculated it. Downey Jr. did get the most of all of the Avengers at about 150 million. I think Scarlett Johansson and Captain America were next at about 20 million. And then all the other Avengers got about $1 million apiece.
Wait, only Chris Evans got 20?
It was a big jump from what I saw. I could look it up, yeah. You guys go ahead and continue talking. I'll look it up.
Wow,
Man,
Robert Downey Jr.,
he
gets a good deal.
Man, whatever Scarlett Johansson asks for, you give it to that girl. She makes him 20 million, and she was like in the movie, like, you know, like in a couple of pretty awesome scenes, but like not in much. But just because she's so damn fine, they pay her $20 million. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Like she's barely in the movie except for a couple cool
scenes.
And
she's making as much as Captain America. Oh, you gotta love this society, man. Hot chicks, man, getting their money.
War salary. Let's see. I'm curious. I want to bring this list up again because.
Also, technically, Troy, I heard that Marvel, our checks are already on the mail as we started reviewing the movie. Our Marvel checks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so here is what I found. Okay, so Marvel. So Robert Downey Jr. is making $200 million for both films, Avengers 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Robert Downey Jr. earned $40 million for the first one. Johansson got $20 million. Chris Evans got $6.9 million. Jeremy Renner got about the same. Hawkeye got about 6.1. Thor got about 5.4 million. Mark Ruffalo got about 2.8. Someone like oh my god, guess how much Sam Jackson made for Avengers?
I hope it's a lot. Tell me what Shaft made.
$4 to $6 million for the one scene.
For that one scene,
tiny scene. Holy fuck!
Hey man, you gotta pay Shaft. Shaft gets his. You gotta.
But it is so. So from the looks of it, each guy is getting between $2 to $3 million for the film.
Wait, I want to know how much did Idris Elba got for that scene?
Oh, unfortunately, Idris Elba isn't listed. It's only the main guys.
I predict $500,000.
Probably about 50. Well, what's Idris Elba salary? Let's see. Well, Idris Elba makes approximately, if it opens here, he makes approximately. It doesn't even say. There should be a website where you can just go and see how much actors get paid.
My God. Yeah. Well, now we went into a tangent about salaries, so
yeah, sure.
Yeah,
sorry.
Well, what's next scene that we were at? What's the next scene?
Yeah,
They were fighting in the park, I believe.
Yeah,
last time
we're fighting in the park, and then you see the ship rise up, and then Iron Man releases the Iron suit.
Yep.
Spidey suit, sorry, the Iron Spider suit.
Yes,
and
17A.
Then they go into space, and then we go into the introduction of the Guardians.
Right. Yeah. Introduction of the Guardians, baller as hell as always, jamming out to some tunes. That was pretty awesome.
Oh yeah. Another thing that I really liked about that moment was, like, if you notice, the only two that are really rocking out to that music are Star-Lord and Gamora.
Because which really like plays into how they're getting to like to their little romance. They're playing into each other more. They're connecting better. Yeah, because at the beginning of all this, she was the most serious, straight-faced person of the group, and now she's probably just as much of a goofball as Peter. Now it's like,
well, and their relationship development since the first Guardians is brilliant. It like comes full circle in the movie, which is awesome.
Yeah,
exactly. Gorgeous. Yeah, very well done.
Oh no, I love the scene when Drax says, "Yeah, but he's not a dude. That's a man."
and not only that, but calling Rocket Sweet Rabbit the whole movie, So fucking funny.
Fantastic.
So funny.
No, and also,
and I love how Rocket like doesn't take shit from anybody. Like when anybody calls him a raccoon throughout all the cinema, he's like, "Oh, don't you call me that!" Like freaks out. But when Thor calls him a rabbit, he's like, just like, what? He doesn't mention it though. He doesn't give Thor shit.
That's true. Also, I mean, this is jumping around too, but how amazing was it when he gave him the eye? That whole full circle with that eye that he took, and he gives it to Thor. I'm like, that is amazing. Like that is. Oh, there's little moments like that. Stuff. Yeah.
Wait, that's the eye for Guardians 1, right?
I think it is. I think it is the exact eye that we saw him steal.
I believe it is. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice that until you said that. I didn't notice that.
And because if you think about that, like they opened it up, and then the fact that something as little as that is called back in Infinity War.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
it's almost like if you want to make a studio franchise film, you should start by developing them and not just throwing them all into one movie at the beginning.
Oh, completely agreed. And that's the best way to make money.
Like, again, as Raul said, Dark Universe.
Fuck the Dark Universe.
and Justice League also.
Yeah. As much as I love Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman, I will say Justice League was a fucking mess and on every level.
Yeah, no, not good.
I was like walking into Infinity War, and I'm like, who was the villain in Justice League?
Yeah,
exactly.
And then I realized it was Warner Brothers.
Yeah. Warner Brothers was the villain.
But no. We love DC movies. Like Jason said, I love Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman. For anyone listening, we don't just love Marvel. We love everything. It's how it is. But Justice League sucks.
Also, did you guys saw that meme on Facebook and Twitter of a guy using a Justice League shirt into an Infinity War screening?
I would do something like that.
Okay, I did something, and this is gonna be, and not to Infinity War screening. It's a funny story because I went. It was a few years ago. I went to a Portland Comic Con because I'm in Oregon.
Awesome.
To have a photo op with Stan Lee.
Oh shit!
Excelsior.
No.
The funny thing is that we brought I brought my dog with me because she was just like a little Jack Russell Terrier. She made a bed out of all my Marvel shirts, and the only shirt that was left was a Superman one.
And you got a picture with Stan Lee with the Superman shirt?
Yes.
Oh no!
That's amazing. No,
that's the best thing I've ever heard in my life.
That's amazing.
Take that, Stanley.
Stanley is like, oh, kill that bastard.
Kill that bastard.
Funny thing, he actually had a face that looked like that in the picture. I'm not even joking. Like, like his face was just like, seriously, this motherfucker has a shirt on.
That's fantastic.
Oh, you're blacklisted by Stanley.
Yeah.
So the Thor meets the Guardians. So pretty much where
Which
we're
was
at.
hilarious when he was talking to Star-Lord.
I just want to make another joke before we get into Star-Lord imitating Thor. I felt so bad for Chris Pratt because everybody telling him that he's fat and he looks great.
He looks great. I agree. He does not look bad at all.
That man is fantastic. He is. Like, he's a great guy. Hilarious. You gotta follow him on all social media. Dude's so funny. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I don't like Chris Pratt a little, I love Chris Pratt in real life, but I didn't like him that he broke up with Anna Faris. That was my ship.
Yeah,
ship.
Hey,
yeah, I get that.
You. I mean, this is another tangent. But on the note of that, if you notice, The Rock, Chris Pratt, and John Cena all just got divorced, or they're in the props of it, and those are the three big Hollywood stars right now, I'd say. So I feel like if you want to be a successful actor in Hollywood, you have to just do what The Rock and Chris Pratt does and work all the time and just not worry about anything else other than just working. And I feel like that's why they broke up. Exactly.
Okay, Troy. I need my blockbuster. Sign the divorce papers right now.
Bring them, send them. I mean, I have a friend that's a lawyer. We got this.
We're all good.
Yeah, and then we get to Gamora explaining that in a snap Thanos can destroy everything. Then we get to the moment when I love Chris Pratt imitating Thor.
Oh, it's
I'm
fantastic.
not doing my voice. This dude. We don't have to listen to this dude. Oh, and Rocket, are you making your voice deeper? No, this is my regular voice.
Thor,
he's a
are you
national
mocking me?
Oh no, yeah, fantastic scene. Yeah, no, great back and forth there between like two like really big characters from both obviously both their franchises.
And also
their individual movies.
For me, I know that you guys read comics, and I haven't read any single comic. But for me, I was totally geeking out seeing all of these characters interacting that I never expected for them to interact.
I'm not gonna lie.
That was a pretty cool scene.
It's completely different than the comic books though, because the comic book Infinity War has Galactus, Silver Surfer. It's kind of like really different than the movies, and that's what I appreciate about what Marvel has done. Is
they made it their own, and I think
Jason, didn't you tweet about this morning or yesterday, where I truly believe Captain Marvel will take place and be that Adam Warlock character in the next film?
Yes, because of how they end that movie. Because actually, the funny thing is like Infinity War is actually far more inspired by the 2-issue prelude to the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, Thanos Quest, where he actually does go to obtain all the stones. There's elements of the Infinity Gauntlet in there, but
because in those comics, it's like he goes to the different planets, and it's like kind of mini gods, right? That he's taking them from, and I'm like,
exactly,
which is cool, but
also talking of a thing that we didn't say from the beginning of the movie, when Thanos he already has the purple stone and the power stone, we didn't saw how he destroyed Nova Corps.
I swear to God, if they killed John C. Reilly, I'm gonna be pissed.
I don't know. I just whenever I really thought about that, I was just like, oh my God, the Guardians never saved Xandar. They actually doomed that planet. That was
Also, I really want to know the timeline, because I think I don't remember if it was Thanos or Thor said this. I was like, a week ago, you found this stone, and now Xandar is destroyed. So technically, in space timeline, Guardians 1 and 2 were like back to back in the same week, and then Thor Ragnarok was on the same week on the other side of the galaxy, and then Infinity War happened.
Jeez, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the timeline that I watched them in. No, let me look it up here quick, because I think that's right. I feel like there was a bigger separation between Guardians and Thor, though.
I just watched a video on this the other day.
Yeah, because the order that I watched them at near the end was, so Guardians 2, then it's Age of Ultron, then it's Ant-Man, Civil War, Black Panther, Doc Strange, Spider-Man, then Thor Ragnarok. Then obviously Infinity War after that.
Yeah. And then also, I'm trying to think with how Age of Ultron, its post-credit scene where Thanos gets the gauntlet, he's just like, I'm gonna go do this myself. That's I guarantee that's whenever he goes and just takes down the Nova Corps.
Yeah,
I agree.
Because this is the other thing. My theory of why the timeline is so different. I think that in space, I think also, if I'm scientifically correct,
well, it's interstellar, right? Interstellar. Yeah. When you're in space, time is different.
Space and time is different from maybe if Guardians 1 and 2, Thor Ragnarok, and now Infinity War, maybe all of this happens in like a 2 weeks period in space, but on Earth was 6 years.
Exactly, because that theory you just said is confirmed in Thor Ragnarok when Mark Ruffalo wakes up and he's like, "How long have I been this way?" Right? He didn't realize how long he was the Hulk. So I think you're right. Time is shorter for them than it was longer on Earth.
Yeah, because
which in like reality science is actually a complete possibility.
Yeah, because technically Hulk was the Hulk for a year in space. So equivalated 6 years on Earth.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Pretty intense.
And then I really like how you need to think about putting all of the pieces together. What is the next scene? Oh yeah, they split up, right? That's when Thor and Rocket and Groot they go to meet
they have to go get that hammer.
Yeah,
Or
they go to meet Peter Dinklage, and then
can we talk about how amazing it is that Peter Dinklage is a giant in this movie? And he's
Jesus Christ!
When I saw that, I'm like,
so hard.
Like it's perfect.
It totally defied my expectations because whenever I heard what character he was playing, I can't remember what the name of the character is, but he's like this red-haired dwarf in the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, and whenever he shows up and he's a giant, I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting that.
And not only is he a giant, it's just Peter Dinklage expanded to it's his size. I love it.
This is another thing. The first time I saw the movie, I really wanted to pee, and so when they go into the planet and Thor starts talking about that story of dwarves and how they make the weapons, I was like, I think this is the perfect time to pee. I went to run to the restroom. I only missed when they started meeting Peter Dinklage, like his first minute on screen, and I was like, I didn't miss anything. I was like, okay,
okay, go.
Because I really wanted to pee. That movie didn't feel long for me. But
no,
I was like, it felt. There was no slow moment, even though that Peter Dinklage wasn't like a big important character for me. I think if you take out Peter Dinklage from the movie, it would have made any like changes.
I think it was written in just so that the groups, so it wasn't just saturated all the time with all the heroes, right? I think they needed to go on their own separate journeys. Sure, was that honestly? I'll say this on air too. The Thor scene getting his hammer is totally the Canto Bite scene from The Last Jedi. It isn't needed, but I think it's nice in the film to see him go and do that, and it makes the character development between them all, right?
Unlike with the Canto Bite sequence, I mean, I don't want to like shit talk Rian Johnson because he made an entertaining movie. I enjoy it. I don't know. I see the point of the Canto Bite scene. I just don't like it. But the dwarf scene, I've always wondered. I was just like, are they ever going to show the dwarves that make the Asgardian weapons in this universe? And then they do. So
you know what was a missed opportunity talking about Peter Dinklage? They should have gotten the actor that portrayed Gimli in Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah.
That would have been the geekiest cameo ever.
And everybody would have loved it.
Yeah. And I love Peter Dinklage, but I was like, that was a missed opportunity. If I were Marvel and Kevin Feige, I would have gotten Gimli from Lord of the Rings.
I think it was mostly just a name thing. They couldn't get Vern Troyer, rest in peace, so they got Peter Dinklage.
Yeah.
Vern Troyer would have been awesome.
And also, this is the other thing. I'm completely 100% sure, and I have heard like 3 podcasts saying the same thing as me. That was not Benicio del Toro in Infinity War.
No, it wasn't.
I'm pretty sure that was another actor. That was not Benicio del Toro.
It did not look like Benicio del Toro at all. Because I watched Guardians of the Galaxy like the night before I went to see that movie. I was just like, he looks completely different. Something's not right here.
No, he looks like Justin Theroux, and he's credited. I know he's credited, but that's not him.
I think maybe they just CGI'd. I don't know.
Because he looks like Justin Theroux on a cosplay of the Collector. If you really good look at it, he doesn't look like Benicio del Toro. And also,
okay, I'll take a look next time I watch it.
Yeah, because I was like this, seeing the screen, and it was a big ass screen. I was like, that's not Benicio del Toro. I was like, seeing that, I was like, because Benicio del Toro, even though he has lost a lot of weight, he still has his cheeks, really big ones. I was like, he did like a surgery or something? Because even his eyes, that was not Benicio del Toro's eyes.
Yeah, his schedule just probably didn't match up because he's got a lot of work nowadays too.
Yeah, this podcast said maybe they recorded Benicio del Toro's voice and they hired like another actor and put out only Benicio del Toro's voice, and that's why maybe he's credited.
Yeah, that could be it. Or they just really did something different with his makeup. I have no idea. But another part of that scene, whenever Thanos turns Drax into blocks, I was just like, holy shit, did he just die? And then...
No, for me, I talked to my mom before I went to see Infinity War, and I told her, I was like, what are your predictions for dead people? And she said, Drax, Maria Hill, and Gamora. And she was technically right.
And not only that, but about that scene, like you were saying, when the Collector is there, I really, really liked the scene where Drax is like, fuck it, there he is. I'm going to kill him right now. I thought that was awesome because we needed to see Drax's arc, right? Continue. So I like the editing.
I love seeing crack videos of mixing jokes and music. And when he says, I'm going to do it, I can hear the crack video on YouTube. Oh, bitch, don't do it. Oh my God.
Also, do you guys know, what's your predictions? What happened to Kraglin? Sean Gunn's character from Guardians.
I'm actually not sure. I mean, I know Sean Gunn was credited, but that's because...
Well, he was Rocket,
Yeah, because he's like the motion capture for Rocket. But I'm not sure because it's a really weird thing. So maybe Kraglin just wasn't with them on this specific mission.
Or, I mean, he could have... I'm just trying to think. He might have... At the end of Guardians 2, the last thing we see of him is he has Yondu's thing, right?
Yeah.
His stick of killing thing. And maybe he goes back because all of the other Ravengers have the fireworks going and stuff. Maybe he's back with them on that planet where we see Sylvester.
That's what I always...
Yes, that would
I always assumed that he just picked up after Yondu and continued to be a Ravenger and just do Ravenger stuff.
Or maybe we'll see in Guardians 3, maybe he's the new leader of that specific Ravenger core group, right?
Yeah,
which would be
absolutely.
cool. I think.
Probably my guess.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed that. I thought I liked his character in Guardians, so I missed seeing him in this. Same with Valkyrie. I mean, that's talking about the beginning, but I really wanted to see her too, and we didn't get any of her. Or Korg. What the fuck happened to Korg? Korg could have killed Thanos.
I'm pretty sure he would have gone up. He says like, "Hey man, I'm Korg."
and Thanos says, "Bye, bitch."
Just use the power stone and just boom, just obliterate them into tiny pebbles.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I love that. I like that.
I imagine Thanos using Korg as cement. He crushes Korg and he uses as cement for his ship.
You know what they should have done? I just thought of this right now. They should have shown Korg dying, and then when Thor is at the beginning, all like tied up, they should have had Korg be the rock that's surrounding Thor, and
oh shit,
that would have been fucked up.
That would have been
awesome.
I
like that. That would have been.
That would have been my version of that scene. You know that I love dark scenes. That would have
also,
been beautiful.
I just wanted Taika Waititi to get paid again because that guy deserves all the money.
Yeah.
The one thing though, because it totally lines up with Age of Ultron too, because whenever Thor has that vision and Heimdall is like, "We are all dead. Can you not see?" And then and everything, and I'm just like, okay. At the end of Ragnarok, none of a lot of the Asgardians die, but none of the main ones are dead except for Odin.
I think that's the main point of Infinity War, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything, right? And then Infinity War is really much just heroes don't win. They've tried. they've tried so long throughout 10 years of trying to make the world peaceful, but this is kind of like silly because that's what real life is. The bad guys always win, right? Like,
yes.
it's such a great metaphor for our world, and just seeing Thanos, because pretty much this Avengers movie is a Thanos movie, right? We can all agree he is the character.
Definitely, but
what's
what's interesting too is like in the scene that we were just talking about, right? He has that like illusion of him interrogating the collector, right? And then Gamora goes out and stabs him in the throat and then stabs him in the heart with that thing that she got as a child, right? And he fucking dies, right? And then he comes out of his thing because he now has the reality stone that he got a long time ago and he fucked everything up. And he's like, yo, bitch, I'm still alive. And he takes her, right? But what's interesting about that, and this is skipping forward a bit, though, to like my theory of pretty much the end, actually, because like Thor goes and like shoves the axe into the dude's chest, and then he just teleports. He doesn't technically like heal himself. His gauntlet is destroyed from snapping his fingers. So like, does Thanos die at the end? Because we don't see him much on his like.
Well, he's looking at the sunset, right? Like he's
looking at the sunset, but we only see it for like a second, and he just had an axe balls deep in his chest.
Well, he didn't. Okay, I'll try.
Yeah, go ahead.
His Infinity Gauntlet wasn't completely destroyed because, well, the Space Stone still works because that's what's been teleporting him.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever he's in that scene with Gamora, he's actually in the pocket universe of the Soul Stone because that's a big part of the Infinity Gauntlet storyline. Is like the Soul Stone actually has its own pocket universe. Like an
alternate dimension, but the same. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So, whenever we get to the end of this, I'll try and, like, in short terms, explain the theory I have for Infinity War.
Oh, yeah, because I want to know. Also, we skipped the scene of Gamora flashback when she met Thanos. I really like that scene.
That was awesome. And it's nice to see
it gave some
backstory to Gamora, which I loved.
Yeah, and it also gave a lot of backstory to Thanos. It gave him some humility, like when he, distracted her from watching her entire half of the planet die. It gave him a little bit of humanity. It actually made it a little bit easy to connect with a ruthless genocidal murderer.
Yeah, because in that moment, you start to see. Actually, no, he actually does have a heart. He actually does care about someone. And then we get to that freaking scene whenever it's revealed to him that he has to sacrifice a thing that he loves to get the Soul Stone. And then he's just like, and Gamora's just talking shit. She's just like, you don't love anything. You deserve this. And then she's just like, oh no, you really do love me.
No, I love that bait and switch. She's like, you fucking lost, you're a bitch, blah blah blah, and then she sees his tear. I was like, oh fuck,
I'm about to die.
And not only that, but let's talk about how brutal that death scene was. Just seeing her be ragdolled off the cliff and just bang, like that's the thing. This movie,
the music.
Alan Silvestri did an incredible
silence. See her like this, and then you see her blood already on the floor.
I think the worst part about that scene that like really hit the feelings is when she's like halfway down and she looks up at Thanos and she looks like absolutely terrified, and Thanos looks down at her and is just mortified by his decision. Really, like you can almost see like a little bit of regret, which is why I commented on how good Josh Brolin's did or whatever on Thanos, like his facial expression. You could see some pain in there. It was amazing. I loved it.
And also another part is like, because one of the channels I watch is Professor Thorgy. I watch him a lot because I'm a big comic book geek and stuff. But anyway, he was actually doing one of those post geek out reactions, and he said because Nebula escapes while they're there, and he was thinking, oh, at the last second she's gonna come in and save Gamora. Nope. Doesn't happen at all.
And that's another thing. So I know this is where we keep jumping around, but that's cool. The scene when Nebula is being worked on and they find about that memory about Thanos knowing where the other stone is before they go to that scene. Nebula's performance is incredible in this film.
Yeah,
I think the emotion Karen Gillan brings to the character was astounding. And seeing, I don't know, what was your opinion on that scene of having that memory be shown? I think it would have been more effective if that was a scene that we would have seen in one of the Guardians movies. But I do like the fact that we got to see it.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice.
Because
I think it also fine. I
really love the detail of Nebula all splitting up or seeing all of
that
her
was
parts.
beautifully done. That looks
really shows you, because we've always heard about how much Thanos tortured her. Whenever you see how much of her is actually machine, it's just like he really did a number on her.
And that goes into his character even more, showing his cruelty. It shows his humility. It shows his cruelty. I just can't talk about it enough. I just love what they did with Thanos in this movie.
Because for me, the most important thing about a movie, in every kind of movie, superhero, drama, the villain. For me, I always fell in love with villains. Troy knows about this.
Yeah.
And so a movie has to have a great villain for me to love this movie. And so
absolutely,
I had a friend, because that's the other thing. Like I said, I didn't read comics. This guy, my friend Alfredo from Texas, he explained to me the whole Infinity Gauntlet storyline, the whole story about the stones, the story about Thanos, before even Guardians of the Galaxy 1. He explained me the whole thing. And so he already hyped me up about the story, about everything. And so when I saw Guardians and when I saw Thanos in the chair and seeing him talking, I was like, ah! And then when I saw Avengers, I got this flashback from 3 years ago from Facebook. I was screaming in the theater when Thanos says, I do it myself. I was like, no. And then, and then in the theater, I felt like a child. My eyes were like a child, like an anime, like a girl that's like this. Like seeing Thanos there with all of that. I love Thanos. Everybody's done in the theater. Everybody's done in the theater after all he did, especially in the credits when he says Thanos will be returned. I was like, fuck yes! I'm like, yes.
I didn't actually see that until I was cleaning out the theater at work the other day. I didn't notice that they did that. I'm like, that's awesome. That's really
whenever they did that, because that's always what they do, is like they, at the end of a movie, they'll say Spider-Man will return or the Avengers will return. And then at the end of this, all they say is Thanos will return. I'm just like, motherfuckers.
Like I love, and also like you said, that moment of seeing him, how much he loves Gamora. I can feel if Nebula would have seen this on like an iPad, he was like, I knew it. I knew that he never loved me.
Well, but that's
I think he made that pretty blatantly clear.
But here's the thing: is it that he doesn't love her, or does he love her so much that he wants her to be her best person, and so that's why he keeps upgrading? But I don't know. It could be.
I think he loves Gamora. I don't think he loved Nebula.
The way
he never knew.
I suppose in that final battle, whenever he is just disgusted with her, I think that he just hates her.
Also,
I agree.
I know about the theories of what's going to happen in the next one and everything, but at that moment when Gamora dies, I was like, I feel bad for James Gunn because he's writing Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I was like, how he's going to write that movie without Gamora? That was my first thing when I was seeing it in the theater. I was like, holy crap.
Well, we'll see, right? We'll see what happens with that because, like, there's a lot of character deaths in here, and like, if they're bringing back the people who faded, maybe they can still bring back the people who like died in other ways.
I have a theory about that too, but we'll get there.
But this is in one of the podcasts that I love, Canon. Troy knows about this podcast. It was the same guys that recap Pretty Little Liars when it was on, and so they were saying, and this was also a thing that I was talking to Janine. They should have never announced the sequels and the future movies before seeing Infinity War. Because that's the other thing. You know that Spider-Man's going to have a sequel. You know that the Guardians is going to have a sequel.
So far, it's confirmed after Infinity War, we have Captain Marvel, obviously, and then we have Black Panther, Guardians 3, and Spider-Man 2. Those are the only things that they have announced.
Where does Spider-Man 2 take place, though? What's the timeline
probably,
for it?
If I mean, obviously they don't have any information out, but if I was predicting, it's probably like if it's Homecoming, either they're going to jump right to Graduation. Spider-Man Graduation would be an awesome title, or they'll just say fuck it. What about this? I mean, we're not going to get there yet, but imagine if those were just cover-ups and they actually don't do them anymore and they're dead.
And what if Morales comes in?
Yeah, there we go. I'd love it. And they've already set that up with Childish Gambino in the first Spider-Man movie.
And for me, this is a thing I even said it to the podcast. I like Black Panther, but I don't like T'Challa's character. I don't know why. I love all of the other characters except T'Challa. I don't know why.
Also, there's
you're not black.
If I remember correctly, Shuri, T'Challa's sister, was actually Black Panther in the comics for a certain period of time.
Oh yeah. I believe you're right.
And for me, if they keep Black Panther dead, I would love to see. Even though I fucking love M'Baku so much, I want M'Baku to be the king.
Yeah,
Shuri being Black Panther, and Okoye, and all of those ladies making like an army, and that will be the Black Panther sequel.
I want, this is how I want Black Panther 2 to go. I want it to start off with the guy from Get Out, like to be out, like looking out at Wakanda. We see a ship crash. Valkyrie is on the ship and gets inducted into Wakanda and learns, and then get like you were saying, the main girls, like have Black Panther turn into like Valkyrie, Michonne, and like all the main girls. I think that would be awesome.
Yes,
that would be super sick.
Tessa Thompson's awesome.
And then you sprinkle also Scarlet Witch, because she will never have a movie, and that would be your woman team up movie.
Scarlet Witch is OP as hell, though. That girl destroyed the Infinity Stone. That was fucking crazy.
Well, and I think if anyone, I think she's probably not going to survive too. Like I think she has the least chances of coming back. Yeah, but no. Okay, so let's we're in the middle of the movie. Pretty much, we have Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Peter Parker off to Titan, and we have the Guardians on
nowhere.
Nowhere. Yeah, and then we have the group on Earth at Wakanda. Right, those are the three storylines going on.
Yeah.
Was there anything else kind of that I'm missing? Because you have the Guardian. Yeah, okay. I think that's right. So let's talk
we already saw about Peter Dinklage. We need to talk about before Wakanda, when Scarlet Witch and Vision get attacked by that dark hair lady, alien lady. Midnight. Thank you. And so then Captain America shows up. Ugh, you know that I don't like Captain America.
Oh,
okay, but for the people that are listening, it's not. I don't think the character. It's Raul on this podcast. Raul and I don't really like the "hoorah, let's go America" type movies.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I don't think. I personally don't think like. I mean, the first Captain America is like that, but Winter Soldier.
The rest I like.
Like Winter Soldier and Civil War, they're just like. Yeah, our government's kind of fucked up.
That is true. That's true. I like Captain America. I like Chris Evans. I thought he was
like it.
Also, going back of what Troy said, that evil wins in real life, we have a supervillain as a president. And so
Thanos is Donald Trump.
Canada has a walking, talking tampon as a prime minister, so.
Okay, so Avengers. So let's go into Wakanda. Let's talk about the scene where Bruce and Scarlet get to meet each other. I like when Bruce shows up to see Chris Evans and Black Widow. I thought that scene was awesome.
And also, even though I haven't rewatched Winter Soldier and Civil War, my problem with both Black Panther and Captain America, their supporting characters are more important than them. That's my problem with them. Like in Black Panther, I can tell you more about Okoye, Shuri, and M'Baku, and even from the guy from Get Out and Angela Bassett. And with Captain America, I love Peggy Carter more. I love Bucky more. I like Falcon more.
I can see that because they're kind of more the straight men, kind of like Superman.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. I think it was good. I want to see, like, that's the thing. I feel like because Bruce was the one that had to call Cap, I feel like that just confirmed that in Avengers 4, their interaction of Downey Jr. and Evans is going to be like, that's when they're going to make up from Civil War and be able to, work together again. Because they don't have any time together in this movie. They don't even interact. They do nothing. They're still on bad terms.
You really feel the separation there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Then poor Vision. He got stabbed by those things that Midnight and the other dude like
1,000
times. Yeah.
I think what's ridiculous. Awesome about Vision's character is in this movie, he's an AI human being who's trying to be human, but knows he has to die. And I think that was an awesome moment for the character, right?
Also how the love of his life has to be the one to kill him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's like and it's just showing even that whole I just thought of that now, like the whole just Vision and the AI, and is he human? Is he not human? And he's making the sacrifices. Man, that was done so well.
And also,
I think it was awesome.
I also really love in that scene how our Thanos comes on. He's just like, yeah, bitch, your sacrifice means nothing to me. Reverse time. Rip this fucking stone out of your head.
Well, and that's the thing. We see Thanos.
He's still going to be dead.
We see him die twice, right? So it's like both times we're like, oh, finally, this is going to be a happy movie. But you're like, yeah, no, just kidding.
Just kidding.
I love that switch when she's like, oh, you poor thing, you lost your loved one. And I'm like, he's going to do it. He's going to do it. And then he reversed and was like, fuck yes. So I remember hearing all of the people like, oh.
Like, well, that's the thing. But when Thanos shows up on Wakanda, even when that happened, even those dog-looking things, there's no point in this movie where the Avengers have a chance. I honestly think from when it opens up and we see the destruction of Thor's ship to having Thanos pretty much bathing in his victory at the end, watching the sunset, this entire movie is destruction and devastation, and it's showing you that hero. Yeah, it's so fascinating, man. I can't believe we got to see something like this. This is what I kind of
fantastic.
You see this smile? That's what I wanted to see. I love movies that go dark. There's destruction. There's death. That was me throughout that whole scene. Those last 20 minutes.
Well, let's. Is there any other moments you guys want to mention before we jump into the last section?
Yeah, because we only need to discuss when they're in Wakanda. I like that other joke about when Rhodey says, "Oh, should we knee?" Because he's a kid. I was like, yeah. You should do it.
That was so funny.
And also when Okoye says, "I thought we're gonna open Wakanda for the Olympics or a Starbucks," and I'm like, those are pretty
fucking
good.
Starbucks workouts right now, everything.
Also, one thing fans have been wanting for years, because Rocket is always obsessed with prosthetics. So whenever Winter Soldier and him are teaming up and shooting everyone down, he's just like, "How much for your arm?" It's like, walked away.
I love that.
I'll get that arm.
No,
that scene when Thor shows up
and the score just goes full blast, the Avengers theme, and it's just like,
oh man,
seeing Thor already with his cape again. With his cape, I was like, oh my god, he's back. Like, yes. Thor, he's one of my favorite characters.
He is ridiculously powerful now, too.
I will defend Thor 1 and 2 forever, because a lot of people don't like Thor 1 and 2.
And
Thor 2 was just really slow.
Yeah.
I think everything about it was fine.
But
I think
stuff the family drama stuff in that movie really worked for me until it was revealed that Loki didn't die in there, and I was just like,
well, I like you said, I like Shakespearean drama. I grew up watching telenovelas, so I like that kind of drama. So that's why I like those movies.
Yeah.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, and so going back to that, oh my God, I didn't expect Rocket and Bucky teaming up. That was so unexpected.
Yeah, pretty decent though. It worked very well.
Also, this was one of my favorite jokes. That's why also in this movie, I started liking Captain America a little more because first when he says, I am Groot, and then I am Steve Rogers.
Yeah, that was great.
And also when, even though I'm skipping a little, but when Thanos doing that moment from the trailer and Captain America stopping the gauntlet with his force, and then
Thanos he just gets punched.
Yeah,
just gets sucker punched in the dome.
And Thanos smiling, that he's like, "Oh, you're so cute," trying to stop me. I was like, "Oh." Also, we skip before we go into the last scene. We skip the scene when Doctor Strange, he says that he saw 14 million alternate endings and he only win in one. And then that scene, what happened when they're all together trying to stop Thanos
with Mantis, right? We didn't talk about that scene when Mantis is, and this is the scene where Star-Lord fucks it up for everyone. This is when he realizes that Gamora is.
I can agree a little with the fandom because that's true. Technically, Star-Lord fucked up. He shouldn't have distracted Thanos.
Well, here's the thing about because like watching the movies before, Star-Lord has always been the insecure man-child that fucks shit up. So if anyone were to screw it up, it would be him.
That's true. That's
agreed.
But this is the other thing. Also, I think why Star-Lord did that because he's the most sensitive one.
Well, and not only that, but
he's lost like everything.
But they developed the relationship and how much he likes. Like in Guardians 2, when Mantis touches him and you realize that, like, no, inside he truly cares for Gamora and that's who he loves. And then seeing the whole circle come around and seeing him react to losing that was devastating.
Love of his life, yeah.
So I get it. I get why he just started going at Thanos and punching the crap out of his head. I get that because that's how he's just lost his life, right?
We skip another scene when Thanos says to Star-Lord, I was like, do it. You promised her that you were going to kill her. And then he shoots and shoots bubbles. And I'm like, and when Thanos says, I like you, I was like, damn.
I mean, hey,
also,
it's kind of funny because it plays into like the dad accepting the boyfriend type thing.
That was a pretty meta joke. Yeah. It's technically
it's kind of fucking dark though, because he
technically got his father-in-law's approval before his father-in-law killed his
kills a bitch. Yeah, you know what?
Yeah,
I'm cool with you, man. I'm just gonna go kill your girl now.
Oh shit, that's funny. I love that scene. Also, can we talk about quickly? I don't want to jump around that much, but that scene when Mantis and Peter Parker, they're trying to get the gauntlet off. Mm-hmm. That plan of attack was brilliant. I don't think they could have did anything else that almost worked. Like that was the only time where they almost had the edge, and if it wasn't for Star-Lord, the movie could have ended there, and they could have defeated Thanos. And I really liked.
Yeah, they could have just ripped the glove off, bitch smacked him.
Well, they almost did.
It would have been completely different, but it's not the plot line, I guess, that they wanted to go with.
And also, whenever Doctor Strange starts fading away, he's just like, Tony, this was the only way. They're still on that one track.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Even though he lost, this is that 1% that will. Yeah. Okay, Raul, let's do it. Let's get into the ending.
You got to get into this. You got to get into that because it's like when at the beginning, like a couple scenes ago, he was like, "Yo, Tony, if it's a choice between you, the kid, or the stone, I'm picking the stone, bro." But yet he gives the stone to Thanos to save Tony, right? So in a way, him giving the stone must have been his only way of protecting the stone. in some way, because that's his devotion. In some way, he had to let Thanos win.
Exactly, and I think that was one of the things in his head that he realized.
That's one of the things he saw, maybe in one of those alternate realities. Maybe that's what he saw.
Yeah,
they needed
and that
to
leads
call
us
Captain Marvel
to the snap.
Yeah, wait.
Oh.
Just make me make the lead-in because that scene was so epic. We saw Scarlet Witch.
Wait a minute, wait. Actually, before you go, RL, can we just have a minute of silence for our fallen heroes that died at the end of Infinity War? Because it's sad.
Yeah,
Did you guys cry? Did you guys cry?
I was a little upset, to be honest, man.
But no, I was internally
I was totally
screaming
wrong throughout the whole film.
I only felt sad for Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, and I was like, I didn't care when Black Panther disappeared. I was like, yes!
I was so freaking shocked where that happened because whenever he was reaching his hand out, I thought Okoye was going to be the one that disappeared.
Yeah.
And then you see Black Panther's hand just go. I'm just like,
you're like, oh shit.
And then Raul, that's the scene that's like when Raul's like,
yeah, man. One that really surprised me actually was when Peter Star-Lord vanished as well.
I felt so bad. I didn't expect Star-Lord also to disappear.
No, not after all the stuff that he went through, and like now his like definite like he's like the perfect like what's it called for Thanos? Like he's obviously got some issues with Thanos. He killed his woman, all this stuff. It would have been excellently played out in the next film, I feel. But he just faded away. So.
Well, and we can also look at it as at the end of the film, technically Peter and Gamora get they are together again because they're both dead
in the Soul Stone.
Yeah.
Wait, and so we see Vision dying, and then Thanos was like, "Oh, you poor thing," and he goes back in time, grabs the stone, kills Vision again.
Yeah,
and
he's like,
we actually get that
rerun it.
We actually do get that scene that we've been having in our heads for years with him plucking the stone right out of Vision's head.
Yeah, with his fingers.
And how he trashes Vision like a napkin, like a dirty napkin. I was like...
Also, I will say, it was awesome to see Vision turn to the gray and white like he was in some of the comics.
Yes.
I really like seeing that.
Yes. That was great, yeah.
And so then we see we see him with all of the stones, and then Thor in the chest with the axe, and then he snaps. For me, the first time I saw it in the theater, I was like, I forgot. I knew the theory about the snap, so for me, it was completely surprised. I forgot about it, and then as we see, the first one to disappear is Bucky, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, he's just like, Steve.
But that's the thing. There's that scene where Steve then falls to his knees, and he's looking around and seeing it, and you see him like analyzing it in his head. Then there's that look he has where he's like, "Oh shit!" Like he realizes what's happening.
Yeah.
No,
that was such an intense scene.
Bucky, then also Rhodey, Falcon, Groot. Oh my God! When Rocket loses Groot. Damn. And then, the moment that what we just said about Okoye, I also thought that Okoye was gonna bite the dust and not Black Panther. And when Black Panther bite the dust, I was like, yes.
You are
all about man. The problem with it.
Yeah, I know. I was the only one because I can feel the people staring at me. I was like, I don't care.
I think what's interesting for me is the only death that really surprised me, other than Black Panther, was Peter Parker.
Oh, your boy.
I knew it was going to happen, man. I knew it was going to happen just because of how they built up the character. And once he got on that ship and they were up in space and they got on Titan, I was like, oh, man. Peter's
No, man, it's not good. It's not cool. That was the worst part of the movie. Like,
that line, Mr. Stark, I don't want to go. I was like, holy crap.
Oh, yeah. It got real emotional real quick.
I get sad just fucking thinking about it, man. Like, this is my hero. Like,
And also, there's the other thing. I was talking to Janine. I was like, everybody disappeared in like 10 seconds, and Spider-Man have
No,
like almost
Nick
a
Fury.
minute to die.
Nick Fury was the same.
Yeah.
He didn't die right away either, right? It was more he had to go to the car and get the phone.
I think there was probably a bit of willpower in there. Maybe they're just...
or the plot was needed them to do something quickly.
Oh my god! And I love that post-credit scene where Nick Fury is just like dialing Captain Marvel. Yeah, just like motherfucker.
I think it's also. I think it was. I read that scene was actually filmed after the fact. The original ending of the movie wasn't going to have any after credit scenes at all. Could you imagine if it would have just ended as it did? And can we talk about also I know this is jumping a little bit more, but that credit sequence when it just goes black and then it's not like the regular credits and it's just the names, that looks so. Oh, it just chills down.
Also the score and the end credits, it's like a funeral version of the Avengers theme, and it's just like
no. And also when Doctor Strange says that was the only way and he disappears, so I was like, no. Because I love Doctor Strange so much, I was like, no.
They killed off my two favorite comic book characters in this universe, Doctor Strange and Spider-Man. I was just like, oh my god.
A little upset, yeah.
And I was so happy that they didn't kill Hulk because I would have lost it. Because I love the Hulk so much. And I will defend every ban as Hulk. I like that movie. I don't like the Edward Norton one. I like Hulk a lot. I don't know. I like that character. And so I was like, if they kill the Hulk, I'm going to be pissed. But he survived at the end. I was surprised they didn't kill Cap or Iron Man. And also, how Iron Man is going to get back? Because he was totally alone with Nebula.
Nebula
survived. Yeah.
I feel like it was very interesting to go the route of everyone going into this movie thought, okay, the original Avengers are going to die. You know, they're going to sacrifice themselves.
All the original Avengers are still alive.
All of them. And all the other characters are dead. Like how...
Yeah, totally unexpected.
Also, I was so happy that M'Baku survived. I was like, yes. He's my favorite character for Black Panther. I was like, don't try to kill M'Baku for me.
And I think from what we know of Avengers 4, they went back to New York and they're shooting the Chitauri scene again. That was the only thing that's come out from Avengers 4 is they're going back to the first movie. So either this means that there's time travel involved, and maybe the original Avengers said, we have to go back to the very first attack and change history all from then, or is it going to be the Soul Stone that is going to be like a vision? I don't know.
Here's what I'm thinking. I think it's going to be time travel, but in a way similar to that movie Source Code, where
I love that movie.
Because Tony Stark in Civil War, he has that BARF program where it's like he can revisit parts of his past and try to change it up in his mind. So what I'm thinking is like they're actually gonna take a lot of inspiration from Source Code there, and they're actually like him, Ant-Man, and probably Banner, I'm not entirely sure, are gonna go into that little program to the Battle of New York to try and analyze anything that they can get to try and defeat Thanos.
I like that. I like that a lot. I think that's really, really cool. I would like, because they have to bring up, like, obviously, they have to bring them back, right? They have to. If they don't, then this is, I'm going to put it on record right now. If they keep this movie as is and don't adjust anything that happens, this is the best movie of all time for me. For me, this is, like, if they just did what they did and it moves on and they are gone, the people that left, I don't know how to even react to that.
If they don't bring them back, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, they will be like, good.
Yeah. Another thing, that's another part of my theory, because in the comics and in the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, because I was just like, Okay, because the Infinity Gauntlet storyline pretty much starts whenever the Thanos snaps his fingers and half of the universe disappears. That's the start of that comic, and then the rest is like the remaining heroes having to stop him. They're gonna save the actual Infinity Gauntlet storyline for part 2 of this.
Yeah.
So
that ends with Warlock showing up and defeating Thanos at the end, right?
Yes. So pretty much, Adam Warlock is their guide and their last hope to end up defeating Thanos, and Captain Marvel ended up being teased in that post-credit scene, and with Kevin Feige saying that she's going to be the most powerful character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe up to this point. She's going to be the Adam Warlock of the next movie, because James Gunn is saving Adam Warlock for Guardians 3.
Also, if like Kevin Feige is listening to this podcast right now, please get Ewan McGregor to be Adam Warlock. I think he would be awesome.
Yes.
I think that would be awesome. Also, I think Guardians 3 will introduce Nova too, right? So Nova will probably be around.
Yeah, probably.
Also,
I wonder which version.
This was before seeing the movie for the first time. I was wearing a Spider-Man shirt, and then I had on my pocket another shirt that says "Spoiler alert: Everyone dies." So when that moment happened, the snap, I quickly on the credits changed my shirt before I got to the theater, and I noticed that some people saw "Spoiler alert: Everyone died."
Hey, at least you weren't lying.
Yeah, and so everybody was like stunned walking from the theater after the crazy, and I was like, I told you. I was so happy. I was the only one happy there.
Yeah, man, this movie was intense. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. I think this movie is the best Marvel movie to come out, at least.
Yes.
Agreed for sure.
It's an 11 for me. 11 for me is a masterpiece. Yeah, I love it.
I will say on record now,
fantastic.
Because after watching all of the all the Marvel movies, I have my definitive list now of my favorites. I'm going to read it off here.
My God.
You guys can let me know what you think of my how I rate these films. So number 1 is Avengers Infinity War. Then we jump to Spider-Man Homecoming at number 2. Then it's Civil War, the original Avengers, and Iron Man. That's my top 5. Then trickling down, we go Iron Man 3, Captain America the Winter Soldier, Doctor Strange, Thor Ragnarok, Age of Ultron, then Guardians 1 and 2. Next is Iron Man 2, Black Panther, Captain America number 1, Thor, Ant-Man, and the final 2, Thor 2, and the Incredible Hulk.
I think that everyone has the Incredible Hulk.
It.
That's the last one.
Oh, yeah. What's your last?
My last one is Iron Man 3.
Oh, you don't like Iron Man 3?
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
I totally respect Shane Black, but I don't like what he did with that.
For me, it's less of I like the movie, and I like how Tony Stark's character is like his character development through that film. That's what I enjoy. I also kind of like the Mandarin twist because I wasn't expecting that, and I thought that was unique. You know, it was different. But...
Yeah, that was pretty sick.
Yeah, I will not do my ranking until I complete my rewatch. I only watched Phase 1 before Infinity War, so it's gonna take me time to rank them. But I make a rank last year. I still think that maybe Guardians 1 is still my favorite movie of the MCU, but after Infinity War, it's on debate. It could be between Guardians and Infinity War.
Guardians 1 was one of my favorite movies for sure.
Yeah, like my top 5 were before Infinity War. The number 1 was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Then it was
I really like Guardians 2, by the way. I thought that movie was underrated.
Excellent.
Yes. Then it was Winter Soldier, the first Avengers movie, the first Guardians movie, and then Spider-Man Homecoming.
Oh, I have my ranking. This was before Black Panther, so my number 1 is Guardians of the Galaxy. Then number 2 is Avengers 1. I really love Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is my number 3. Number 4 is Thor 1. Number 5 is Thor Ragnarok. Then Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Civil War, Age of Ultron, Iron Man, Ant-Man, Winter Soldier, Spider-Man, Thor 2, The Incredible
Hulk. You put Spider-Man next to Thor 2, you bitch?
Then Captain America 1, Iron Man 3, and then Iron Man 2. I think I need to shuffle some because when I rewatch, I forgot how bad The Incredible Hulk is, so it has to be the last one.
And Spider-Man needs to go up more, Raul.
I need to up Captain America 1 because I liked it more rewatching it. So that's why I need to
It's actually a pretty good film.
Mm-hmm. Now, before we kind of get into the second part of this show quickly and getting to know you guys a little bit more, my good friend Connor just sent me his actual discussion points for Infinity War. I want to read them off and let you guys kind of react to them, to give me your thoughts, bounce off of these points. So the first thing he said is that Infinity War was arguably more of a climax to a long-running portion of a franchise than a traditional movie. What do you guys think? Do you think this stands alone as its own thing, or is it the final chapter in this series?
It's like a season finale. It's like a season finale.
It's like I even said it to my parents because I was like, I sent them the Screen Junkies video of all of the Marvel movies before Infinity War because what if they don't get something? But my parents, they have seen all of the movies. They have seen them all, but I was like, what if they forget something? That's why I sent them the video, and they love the movie. But what if a person that hasn't seen the other ones, they're going to feel a little lost because technically the Marvel Cinematic Universe is like watching a TV show. This was the season finale. This was the end of season
it's like
3.
It actually is a lot like reading comic books because Infinity War is like one of those big comic book events where you had to have read all these other comics leading up to it to fully understand what's going on in this event.
Exactly. Yeah, it would remind, and that's the thing. Even how it's directed and organized, it reminded me of so much of a comic book, like seeing everything interaction. So I agree. The second point he said, and we touched on this a little bit, but he said that Peter Quill was an idiot and ruined everything, which I think we all kind of agreed that he let his emotions get a little bit ahead of him. But it made sense because he lost the love of his life. So. He also said 90% of the people we all thought were going to die didn't, which really subverted expectations. I mean, we already kind of touched on that too. Yeah. The fact that it was the Avengers that stayed. Now, this is the next one. He said, despite how great it was, the movie was tonally inconsistent due to the classic Marvel formula breaking in and ruining dramatic scenes. That is an interesting thing to say because in Marvel movies, it is kind of right. They do have a dramatic scene, but then there is the joke and stuff. Infinity War has that as well.
Yeah, one of my friends who actually saw it Thursday night, actually, after I saw it, he thought that I would have a problem with that because I have a problem with that with almost every other Marvel movie.
Yeah.
I actually thought that it was necessary in this one because this movie is so fucking intense every 5 minutes that you need that break to just let the steam off a little bit because otherwise you're just going to become numb to it.
Well, exactly, and that ties into his next point here, which is that only besides Civil War, this is the only really movie that had that tension in it for a Marvel movie, which I found interesting. I think it was needed. And isn't it funny that Marvel, so they started off doing their own thing. DC movies come out and everyone's like, "Oh, Marvel movies are too dark, or they're too childish, they're too blockbuster popcorny, and the villains suck." So what does Marvel do? They make one of the darkest superhero movies with one of the best arguable villains of all time.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty funny.
Kevin Feige was like, really, bitch? Okay, I'll show you.
Well, and that's the point. Do you guys agree that Thanos could be a parallel to this generation's Darth Vader?
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, technically, like everybody has said it on the podcast that I have heard, this was the Empire Strikes Back of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
It is.
I agree. It's the Godfather 2 of the...
Technically, this could be the new Empire Strikes Back. Like, a lot of people always say Empire Strikes Back, Godfather 1 and 2. This could be already on the list of movies that they're so great, but they're so dark at the same time.
Agreed. And that's another thing. One of the last points he mentioned is that Spider-Man's death was the most realistic reaction to death that I've ever seen. And Tom Holland is going to be considered one of the greatest years from now. I agree with this.
I super agree. Also,
he really was going for that Oscar.
Also, can we talk about, okay, so before the movie came out, obviously a lot of the press and interviews and stuff were like, no spoilers, no spoilers. The fact that Tom Holland made the joke the whole time that he spoils stuff and he had to keep that secret, he deserves an award of some sort because that's such an easy thing to spoil because he was there to film it, obviously, right? So
yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
And then he also put for one of his last kind of things, he just put killed the DCEU, which I mean, I think the DCEU did that themselves.
With Justice League, yes, but I think James Wan will bring them back to speaking terms with Aquaman.
Oh yes, agreed. And I think Shazam's going to be a sleeper hit too.
Also, Troy, can you just tell me? Can you tell in the recording that you told me the story about the kid in your team?
Yeah. So for those that know, I just ended up recently getting a job at a movie theater. So I get to be around movies all the time. It's the best thing. It's changed my life, really. But I was at work this weekend, and I've worked the Avengers Infinity War. And I got to see all the guests leave as they left the theater. I think the most pleasing thing about seeing what happened with this movie is the fact that literally every single child or kid that left the theater was either like grappling onto their parents, like hiding, or they were leaving completely drenched in tears and emotion.
Oh my God, yes, because there was like this little kid in front of me that was cheering every time Spider-Man came up, and then where it reaches death, I'm just like, oh my God, that kid's gonna be heartbroken.
Right? And like I think it's hilarious that like Avengers and Disney made a movie that let's not kid ourselves. Marvel, Cinematic, Disney, these are kids' movies. Marvel's, they're kids' properties. Sure, family films, but they are targeted for kids. So the fact that this film came out and it was so devastating, I think is amazing. Like, make all the kids cry and upset.
Yes.
Like that. I thought that was awesome.
If I was a kid watching that movie, I would have been traumatized. I would have been fucking traumatized.
I was traumatized, yeah. I was, and
you guys as kids, you were so sensible. I would have been. It would have been my same reaction if I was there. I was like, "Yay!"
No, but it's like I used to have my room. Used to have like a car, like Peter Parker bed, and then it was red and blue with Spider-Man all over it. If that Troy went to go see Infinity War and saw what happened in Infinity War, I'd probably jump off of a bridge afterwards. I don't know what I'd do. I'd just be like, all right, see it.
Exactly. Like I was like very similar as a kid. Like I collected Spider-Man shit all the time. For there were actually a couple birthday cakes I had that was Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I had those too.
And like I had like that DK official guide to Spider-Man, and like I got all like the art of Spider-Man books. I got Spider-Man action figures. I was obsessed with Spider-Man. If I had gone to go see that movie,
you as children, for me as a child, I love villains, so I used to dress up as Ghostface, as Darth Vader.
That's cool. I did Ghostface a couple of years too. But yeah, that's our kind of spoiler review for Avengers Infinity War. Were there any kind of last thoughts you guys wanted to talk about before we jump into the last kind of part of the show today?
Also, like everybody said, that was not Disney at all.
No.
It went pretty dark. And also, it has some Disney tropes, like because all of the main characters they were talking about, all of the lost parents. So that was a Disney thing.
Oh, that's true. That's true. But Chase, yeah, why don't the floor is yours? Give us your quick last final thoughts on the film. Something maybe you want to see in the next.
I thoroughly enjoyed the film pretty much throughout. I think the opening scene was actually one of my favorite scenes. Just because of how it just captured my attention instantly. I don't even remember recognizing that I was in a theater. I was so enthralled and in the film from the very beginning that I until the movie ended, I didn't even recognize where I was. It was amazing. I was totally lost in it, is the best way to describe it. As far as like the next film goes, it's going to be very interesting because of the last cutscene when Nick Fury sends the help SOS to Captain Marvel. So, or at least as we assume based off the symbol that shows on the little metal thingy, right?
We got to think that Jude Law plays Marvel in Captain Marvel 2. So we might also see him join in the fourth film.
Maybe.
As well. But who knows?
There's been like rumors that Captain Marvel's going to be a chick, right?
Well, no, she is. Brie Larson.
Carol Danvers.
Yeah, Carol Danvers is Brie Larson, but there's also Marvel, which I don't really know much about Captain Marvel, but I know he's another kind of character in that world, right?
He's the original.
Okay.
Yeah,
Danvers. That's her last name, like Supergirl.
Carol Danvers, yeah. Is that Supergirl's last name?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, well, yeah, that's awesome, Chase. Did you want to? Probably a 10 out of 10 for you then.
Oh, absolutely, definitely a 10 out of 10. I was one of my favorite cinematic experiences that I've been to for sure.
Oh yeah, sits right next to Avatar for me.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, that was absolutely right side by side, and I think it might be fun to see Marvel do something with like Captain Marvel being like female and going with these powerful female roles that we saw in Infinity War. That might be something they want to play on and do right, really. There's been a lot of female movies, like I don't want to talk shit, but like the Ghostbusters movies with all chicks, it was dog shit. So like I really want to see it done right because I'm all about women. I love them, you know what I mean? So like, do you ladies? I love you, all you. But I just want to see it done right. I want it to have justice, and I want to actually be entertained because like for the most part, all of these like female feminist movies that I've watched lately, I've gone in with high expectations, hoping it to be good, wholeheartedly, and been thoroughly let down. So,
well, even saying that,
Annihilation did a pretty good job.
Annihilation was great.
Annihilation, that was the Ghostbusters that we disturbed.
But also talking about that, Chase, it's a good point to mention that it's not that they're not getting the chances because this year alone, if you look about it, we had A Wrinkle in Time, a Red Sparrow, and Tomb Raider open up back to back to back. All of those got critically raped, and critically destroyed.
Absolutely.
So I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know why. Like, I want to see more. I feel like Marvel, they have announced that they are in works with doing a Black Widow standalone movie, which could be like if they did something like Red Sparrow, but obviously Marvel and better. I think that could be interesting. But Jason, what were some of your kind of last final thoughts?
I actually thought about, I don't know if it was this morning or last night. It was last night, I believe. The ending of Infinity War was actually, it totally just hit my brain while on the road one day. And I was just like, oh my God, Phil Coulson's last words in Avengers were, "It's okay, boss. This was never going to work unless they had something to avenge." So, and somebody loses someone, like everybody loses somebody by the end of this. Like Rocket loses all of his friends, and then Steve loses his best friend. Iron Man loses basically a son figure to him. Nebula loses her sister. Everyone loses somebody. So
that's an incredible point. That's a very incredible point. So it's opening up.
This is a good question.
10 out of 10.
If all of us were living right now in the MCU, do you think that you would have survived the snap?
No,
I wouldn't. I would be dust.
I have a feeling that I would have survived. I would have liked to see the devastation. Like, what is going on?
After watching Infinity War, by the way, I totally, if Marvel ever lets me do a Marvel movie, you know what my Marvel movie would be? It would take place during the first Avengers movie, and it would be a group of little kids that get trapped in a building and have to escape. No superheroes in it. Nothing. Right? It's just these kids in this building that while the Chitauri are going around and avenging, just them trying to like survive.
You could actually do a fan film on that, probably.
No, you know what I would like to see? This is a thing that I just got in my head. I have never seen that show, The Leftovers, but imagine Leftovers so Marvel, all of the people reacting of all of the lost ones in the snap.
Yeah.
Trying to see the world going back up and the reactions to it. That would be a good like mini series before Infinity War Part 2.
Agreed. Yeah, man, this movie was intense. I loved it. But yeah, why don't we jump into kind of the last section here before we call it the last episode of the show. I want to get to know you guys a little bit more. I mean, Chase, I know you like the back of my hand, so you can just be quiet for a bit.
Yeah.
But no, Jason. So I want to get into it. I know you started to do some screenwriting and some going into production on some projects. What was one of the first movies that you watched that got you into film? And has it been something that has always resonated with you as an artist?
It's always been around, but I would say the first movie that actually got me into like loving movies, I'd say was Spider-Man, because I remember like it wasn't the movie that made me realize I want to be a filmmaker, but it was a movie that made me love movies. Because I remember going to see that opening day with my family and extended family, because I was really excited for that, and they surprised me with that. And I was like maybe 4 or 5, and that movie was just amazing to me at that age. I mean, some things don't really hold up now, but it was really great at the time. And then after that, there was like, because I really started analyzing Iron Giant. I think that was the first movie that made me realize I want to be a filmmaker. Iron Giant. And then it just kind of it was more of a hobby thing. But then whenever I realized I wanted it to be a career is whenever I saw 2 movies in 1 year, 2013, Man of Steel and Prisoners.
You know what's funny? That is the year that I wanted to be a filmmaker. That 2013 was the year that I started watching. Because 2012 is Avengers came out, and that was like incredible. 2013 in January, I decided to say, look, I'm going to try to see every movie that comes out from here on forward. So in 2013, I made it out of my habit to like look and see what movies were coming out. Man of Steel, I remember seeing, because in my city of Calgary, that's the week that we had a big flood in my hometown, and everyone was like in their houses worried that they were going to get flooded in. But me and my buddy went to go see Man of Steel, and that like was incredible. I love that movie to this day. And talking about Prisoners, holy shit, that movie is one of the best movies of all time. And talking about it, I actually have it right here.
Damn! Wow, that's insane.
That's cool.
We actually have that year in common there.
Well, anyway, continue. So, Prisoners and Man of Steel. What were some of the things? Now, do you often try to catch all the indie movies too, or are you?
I try. I mean, I do fail a lot, but it's just because there's so many movies that come in 1 year, it's impossible to see everything. But
crazy.
But yeah, I do try to see some indie movies, like especially the indie horror movies, because they're very cheap to make. So I try to analyze like how they accomplished that. And one of the first ones that I really got into, and I mean, we don't really talk, but I actually did a review on Mickey Keating's Darling that came out.
Yeah, that was. Have you seen this, Raul? Darling?
No.
You should write it down. Look at. Yeah, it was awesome. I don't remember much of it, but I remember it being great.
Yeah, and I saw that.
Called Darling, just like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it has a really cool poster. Let me see if I can bring it up too.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So, are horror movies, Jason? Horror movies are something that you gravitate towards?
Horror movies, and I would say horror movies or genre films in general. That's what I gravitate towards. I don't really gravitate towards like dramas most of the time.
This one?
Yes, that one.
Oh, okay, let me add it to my list.
Yeah, Mickey Keating. Yeah. Very good director. Very good movie.
Yeah, Carnage Park is also a pretty fun time.
Yeah, I like horror movies. As Raul know, me and him, that's how we connected. Obviously we have lots of stuff in common, Raul and I, but horror movies, that's what I love. And obviously I made my horror movie last year. Horror movie, yeah, it's great. I like that a lot. How about in the last couple of years? Were there any movies that you watched that that kind of affected your point of view on film and that kind of stuff?
Even more so.
Yeah,
yes.
even more so. Yeah.
Yes. There's actually a few. Don't Breathe is definitely one of them. That really.
Raul hates that movie.
Yeah.
Oh.
I love it. I just watched it again a couple weeks ago. That movie's amazing.
There's two movies recently that I hate with a passion. That's Don't Breathe and Rogue One.
Rogue One, I understand. I understand that one.
No, fuck you. No. Fuck both of you. Chase, you want to be my next member on the podcast? They're both gone. Did you like Rogue One, man. Chase, or did you hate it too?
I don't know, man. I wouldn't say I hated it.
What is wrong with you people?
That it was my favorite.
What is wrong? That movie's amazing. Like, shut up.
Visually, it's amazing. I'll give it that.
That's a conversation. I'm not. Yeah, I think this podcast.
I'm surprised that the fandom didn't went like crazy and divided like in The Last Jedi. I wanted Rogue One to be taken off from the canon. Everything like a lot of people saying about The Last Jedi. That's how much I rate Rogue One.
Wow.
Damn. Yeah, you guys are wrong. Usually, everyone's opinions are, you're entitled to them, but in this case, you guys are wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I don't say Troy to change his opinion. I know he loves Rogue One, and for me, I hate it. You're never gonna change my opinion.
No, and it's all fun and games. Honestly, people like the movies they like. You can't.
Yeah.
I like every movie. I haven't hated a movie this year so far.
Surprisingly,
none of the movies I've seen this year I've hated either. So.
But yeah, that's amazing. So what, Jason, what were some of the things you kind of want to look forward to in the future? Is there any projects that you're working on that you want to get developed, or kind of what's the goal that you kind of want to pursue?
Well, I mean, as it is right now, I mean, I assume you've read the script by now.
I did. Yeah. I just take a look at it. Yeah.
Yeah. For my next
by the way.
film, Remorse.
Way better than any of the writing I've ever done because you're nice, straight to the point. I'm very curious to see visually how you pull it off.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. And I'll send it over to Raul too because I think he'd be curious to read it.
Okay. Yeah. And yeah, then after that, I don't know if the next one I'm going to work on is actually going to pull through because I almost want to do a stop motion short film.
I wish. Oh, hell yeah, that would be amazing.
But then I'm just like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm just like, am I getting a little too carried away? Because that would be a bit too much. Because I know how much work goes into stop motion. Like people work on that stuff for years.
Yeah.
I
want to. One of my on my list of things I want to do in my career is work with the company that did Wallace and Gromit and all those movies. Working with thank you. I would love to do a film with them, and they actually just announced they're doing Chicken Run 2.
Yeah,
this week. Which is cool.
That's
20 years.
Wonder if they'll get Mel Gibson back.
Hey, Mel Gibson's he was in Daddy's Home too. He's back in the picture, right?
Yeah. Oh, kind of.
That's amazing. That's incredible. So yeah, now film is something you definitely want to do as a career. Then is that kind of your?
Yeah. I'm actually in the process of. Okay, well, I'm actually, because of how my brain works, I'm working on like multiple different projects. But I'd say to narrow it down, I'm also, along with the short films I'm working on, because I have 3 other short films that I'm going in my head, aside from the one that you read the script on.
And that's the problem, dude. I'll tell you this. Me sitting here right now, I have at least 27 projects or some shit that I'm trying to get done. Right? Like it's just all about prioritizing and just doing one after another.
Exactly. Like that's what I'm doing now. Is like I'm just focusing on the short films, but occasionally I'll go and write the 2 feature films that I have in my head right now. I won't get too far into what they're about, but I will say, in the vaguest of terms, one is a werewolf movie.
Oh, cool.
And the other one is kind of inspired by Misery and dealing with dogmatic religion, kind of. So
that's interesting. I like that. That's cool. That's awesome.
Really, really interesting.
But Raul, was there any kind of questions you had for Jason? Anything you wanted to mention?
Well, I know Jason because we have a friend in common, Jorel, and so and Jorel, he's a really great friend, and so I was like, I love also how Jason gets so committed and he likes every single detail. Also, how he talks about movies and how he defends them. That's the thing that I really like from Jason, and also that's really cool that you started making your own projects and everything. The first time I met Troy, I was so jealous. This 18-year-old kid, when I met Troy 2 years ago, I was like already making his own thing.
It's been 2 years. I just realized it's been 2 years. Wow, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, 2 years ago. It's going to be in July. I remember, I think it was July 21st when I met you in that Screen Junkies party.
Oh, wow.
And at the same time, I was liking you, but at the same time, I was like, "Oh, I hate you," because I have that because I'm old argument. Because I also want to be a filmmaker and all of those things, and I feel like going in my way, and I'm pretty happy and jealous at the same time that you guys you're already making your own things, and that's
honestly
pretty cool.
And that's the best advice I can give anyone. The last at least since 2013, I have saturated myself in film, and I've tried to learn as much as I can. I barely know anything. I am just starting off, right? An amateur director working. But if there's one thing that I know for sure, it's that if you want to be a director, if you want to be an artist, if you want to do something, don't wait. Don't wait for anyone. Just do it.
Exactly.
You have to be persistent, and you have to have that passion for it, and you just got to get it done. And the more you post, the more you are working, the harder you are doing on your projects. For anyone listening, consistency and just making sure that you are learning from your things. After every project, sit down and say, okay, what could have I done different? What was things that worked well? What were some of my strengths? What were some of the things that, could have been changed? And if you do that with every little thing you do, it only takes a matter of time before someone sees that and says, let's give that guy a chance.
Yes, exactly. Because that's what, because I made a short film last year, Stray. And that one was just a spur of the moment thing. There was no, I just woke up and there was a snowstorm outside. And I was just I messaged my friend Adam Nelson, who actually helped me write the story. And I was just okay, there's a storm outside, and let's figure out an idea for a short film. Go. And he was just because also I had recently, we had recently saved a Australian Shepherd puppy. And he knew about that, and he's just okay, what about a story where a guy is walking around in a snowstorm and finds a lost puppy? I was just
you run with it.
Yeah, I just ran with it. Didn't even have a script ready or anything. I just went outside and just totally improvised it. The shots, everything was improvised. And then whenever I would, because after that, the power went out. And I wasn't able to edit that for a week.
Wow.
And then when the power came back on and I started editing, I'm just there's some continuity errors, but it's okay. I'll just cut the sound out and replace it with music. So it would be kind of like a silent film. And then also, whenever I was done and published it, I was just like, oh, this sucks. Nobody's gonna like it. Because there's continuity errors in there a few times that I noticed while editing. And then everyone who saw it was like, this is really good. I'm just like, what the?
See, and that's the biggest, being an artist, I think that's the biggest struggle, because if there's any critics that are the harshest on your work, it's yourself.
Yes.
And it's funny that you mentioned that, because when I worked on Father in last summer, I didn't have a script either. We had scenes. And I went with each actor and I said, look, this is the scene we're doing. How do you think your character would react? How do you think they would talk? Or, what discussions they would have? And we would collaborate in that sense. So it is interesting to hear like that whole improvised thing, because that's exactly what I did. And I think it's wise after you're done filming to take a couple days. For your instance, you took the week before editing it, because you kind of go into it with that blank state. And that's the thing, when you film and when you edit, two things it could drastically change. And like you said, you could cut all the audio, make it a silent film, change this, change that, and it becomes a completely different thing than what you even thought of. So that's an incredible story, and something that you'll probably never forget. Yeah. When you're living in Hollywood working on blockbuster films.
Yeah, exactly. And also, another thing there is that directing my dog was a pain in the ass.
Fuck dogs. Fuck dogs. I had a dog in my movie, and my dog Shadow, I'm like, okay, so this one scene you have to get from here to here. We probably sat there for like 2.5 hours trying to film it, and then he went and walked to the ones, and I was just like, oh, where are these acting dogs? I need an acting dog.
Yeah, because she was just like a little puppy, and all she wanted to do was go and play in the snow, and I had to have her stay still for like 5 minutes to get one teeny tiny 3-second shot. And
it's true, yeah.
It was such a pain, because I was on camera too, because I had to be the lead of the movie, because I don't know anybody here in this specific area. So I actually had to do all the cinematography while also being on camera, and also directing a pain in the ass dog who just wanted to go and play in the snow.
That's funny, because that's like the basis of what filmmaking is right there. Like, that is any project you go into. There are those things that are just like, there was a couple of days when we were filming too, Jason, that like we would wake up and it's like, okay, it's going to be a beautiful day. We're going to get this, and this shot. We wake up and it's just thunderstorming. And I'm like, my movie takes place in the summer. Like, this is not like the continuation errors, right? So it's just, that's the fun of it. And where you have to get on your feet and think, okay, this is what we have. This is what's happening. What can we do to make it the best for film? And I think that's the creative, fun part about filmmaking, is dealing with those things that occur. So that's amazing, dude. That's awesome. But with that being said, Chase, if you're still there, I wanna know some of the movies that you started off, because I don't remember.
Oh man, when I was
what was one of the first movies that? Because when we met in grade 6, what did we bonded more over rap music than film at first?
Yeah, definitely. We definitely bonded over music a lot more, and just hating people on a mutual level.
That's true.
Wait, Troy. Is Chase the sarcastic guy that I like from the other podcast?
No. That's Austin. That's my good friend.
Okay.
Austin. He's a good guy.
But Chase knows Austin really well too.
Yeah, we all used to hang out in the same group. But yeah, I say one of the first movies that actually really enthralled me in the cinema was when I was a really little kid and I watched The Lion King. That was my shit. And then I really got into Star Wars. A couple disappointing movies in there, but they all kind of are still classics. So you watch them all religiously. And got into really nerdy stuff like The Lord of the Rings and things like that. But I'd say one of my favorite movies of all time that I've ever watched, that really captured me the most up until Infinity War. I'd say Infinity War is probably up in my top 2 for sure. I wouldn't say where I'd put it, but The Dark Knight was one of my favorite cinematic experiences that I went to. I fell in love with Heath Ledger's Joker right away when he went on the film. He did it like nobody else. and mixed with Christian Bale's Batman, which I think was a really nice perception of Batman. It was kind of interesting. So that film really affected my my views on cinema. I started to take it a lot more seriously and really try and get into the hobby of going and seeing it. Not really like my career path or anything like that, but like I just go into it like a fan.
Of course,
but yeah, always enjoyed it.
That's awesome. What lately have you seen that? Because I know you saw Infinity War, obviously. What the last year movies that you've seen that you've really enjoyed?
Oh man, there's been a couple. I really did enjoy the don't talk the silent.
A Quiet Place.
I was baked it. Yeah,
A Quiet Place.
Yeah,
A Quiet Place was so good.
Insane. I was really baked when I went too, so it was like it was insane. I was
you were just like
there's. Oh man, when the lantern friggin' dropped, I said out loud, I was like, "Oh shit!" And everybody in the theater just laughed. I was like, "Oh man, if I was in this movie, I'd be so dead." But it was amazing, and I love movies. I don't care what they're about for the most part. I'll watch any genre. I just like movies that, like I said earlier, just make you forget that you're at the theater. You're so enthralled in the movie that you don't even eat your popcorn. You don't even take a sip of your drink. You're sitting forward on the edge of your seat the whole time because you don't want to take your eyes off of it. If you have to pee, you sit there cross-legged, look like an idiot with your legs shaking. You know what I mean? That's the kind of movies that I love to watch. And that's what I'm into lately. And I'm really excited for what they'll do next because I've been very impressed with pretty much all of their movies. But
I'm also really looking forward to Deadpool 2. Deadpool 2 is going to be unreal.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. They really let Ryan Reynolds go wild on it and really do what he wanted and do the Deadpool the way that Deadpool is really portrayed in most comic books. So that should be fun.
Canadian superheroes in their prime.
Like here, the marketing for Deadpool is running wild here in LA. There's like kind of nails emojis which says Deadpool, but in emojis too with cable and like nails in a lot of buses. There's like 50s marketing, but with Deadpool like this, with spray and makeup. There's a lot of different marketing for Deadpool in LA throughout the whole city. Like they're already going bananas. Like I'm super excited for Deadpool 2.
Yeah. Also, there's that one little marketing trailer whenever he introduces Mini Deadpool.
That was
that one
for the IMAX.
Yeah.
And they use I don't know if it's been used in any other movies, but I recognize the music. I'm just like, oh my god, this is the music from the Spider-Man 2 trailer.
Oh, that's funny. That's cool.
Also, I'm so excited to see that Peter guy, especially because now he's on Twitter.
Yes, it's gonna be fantastic.
Also, Troy,
I just saw
I'm gonna be so surprised. I'm one of the people that also want to see Solo. Troy knows why. I'm still gonna see the movie.
It's not that you're not excited for it, but like I think it was maybe 5 or 6 episodes ago, Raul did this incredible solo pitch where he pitched how he thinks Han Solo is gonna be. Like
it was like a year ago. Like a year ago.
It was a year ago? Wow. Yeah. Okay, so it was a year ago then, and he did this, and I think it's gonna be so accurate to what he pitched. So I think that's why we're not really looking. I'm looking forward to. I'm curious. This movie is intriguing me. Jason and Chase. Han Solo, are you guys excited?
Oh, absolutely! I think it's going to be an interesting addition to the Star Wars franchise, giving like a really a new look at a character that we recently lost. So that'll be interesting.
Exactly. Yeah.
I will say that at first I was kind of bummed that they did kick off Lord and Miller from the project.
Of course, they're great directors. Great directors.
I will say I'm interested to see what Ron Howard does with it. But I don't know. Like it's one of those things where I just have to wait and see how I feel about it. Mm-hmm. I mean, it looks visually very stunning, but I will have to wait. Paul Bettany being in it is actually pretty cool, though.
Yeah, I think that's really awesome.
My only reason to see Soul is just because of Childish Gambino.
Hell yeah, I was gonna
of
say
course.
Childish Gambino as Lando Calrissian. That's awesome.
That's perfect.
Donald Glover is.
Oh, it's gonna
You
be
know what?
pimp.
You know what?
It's gonna be super awesome.
I was like really upset when FX canceled his Deadpool show. He was writing a Deadpool show for FX. It was going to be an animated show, and they canceled it.
Yeah,
Lame.
that was pretty lame on their part.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I loved his total burn on them too. Whenever he ended up releasing a leaked script, even though where you read it, it's actually he just improvised that
wrote
on
it that day. Yeah.
And it was like totally him shit talking FX for canceling the show, and it's just amazing.
No, this is a good question. We're talking about summer movies. If it happens, what movie from the summer will beat Infinity War? It will be impossible.
Incredibles 2. Incredibles 2. Incredibles 2. That's the only movie that has a chance, I think. Incredibles 2 could be huge.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think Incredibles 2 could be big. It depends on, I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting. They took an interesting role on it that I didn't expect, really, like with like everything that's going on. But I think the plot's gonna be good.
Incredibles 2, I have a feeling. I hope they break that stupid Finding Dory, because I hate Finding Dory so much, and I hate Finding Nemo. I hate those fishes.
Oh, no.
Yes, sorry. I saw Finding Dory. I was like 12, and I'm like, I hate this fish so much. I remember that I got out and I went to eat sushi. That's how much I hate Finding Nemo. And then I went to see Finding Dory, and I did the same thing. I went to eat sushi, and I was imagining that I was eating Dory.
Honestly, I'm looking through the films that come out this year. Other than Incredibles 2, Jurassic World, maybe if it gets lucky.
I see it being good, but I don't see it beating Infinity War for sure.
I'm gonna make a wild card. The Meg.
The Meg. You know what movie I think
Venom is going to be
really,
great.
really well? Venom, yes,
Venom
but I think because of Justice League, I think Mission Impossible will have a boost. Because I think people are going to want to see what the hell happened with the mustache and
that mustache that killed a whole cinematic universe.
Other than that, though, like The Meg comes out in August. There's nothing huge. There's a Slenderman movie coming out.
Troy, Glass on January.
Yeah,
I'm counting the days for Glass.
Ooh, me too. My
guys,
God.
I love Infinity War, but since it's split, Glass is my Infinity War.
Yeah.
That's how much I hype for Glass.
That's another thing that I actually forgot to mention. M. Night Shyamalan is probably one of my biggest influences as a filmmaker. So,
me too.
Yeah.
I love M. Night Shyamalan. We are fans of M. Night on this show. I think The Visit was incredible. The Visit was so fucking funny. Chase, did you come see that with us in the theater that one time? I don't remember who was in that group.
Yeah, I think.
I know Bracky was there. Bracky went.
Yeah, I think I was there with you guys.
But yeah, I love The Visit. M. Night Shyamalan's great. I'm honestly looking at the list. The only other movie that I think could damage Infinity War is at the end of the year, and that's Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins might throw it in there, throw the gauntlet down. And then we also have Hellboy. Oh, that's next year, though. So, yeah, there's really nothing.
Hellboy with David Harbour.
That comes out January 11th, though, so that scares me.
Wait. Yeah. Is that the same weekend of Glass?
No, that's the week before. Oh, my God. I'm just going to say this right now. We talk about how movies at the beginning of the year usually aren't good. Next year, these are the movies confirmed. At January and February, Hellboy, Glass, X-Men, Dark Phoenix, and How to Train Your Dragon are like in the first couple months of next year, which I think all of those movies are going to be great.
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna say something right now. January has actually been pretty good lately because we got Split last year, and
Split was fantastic.
And I don't know if you know, but I have said it many times, Split is one of those movies that impressed me. I scream at the ending on how much I loved it. That was my favorite movie of the year last year. There was no movie there was no movie that beat Split for me.
No, that was excellent cinematic.
That was my 4th ranked. I had Logan at number 1.
Same.
Split was there.
Logan was good.
Logan didn't even beat my top 15. I know. I like Logan, but I didn't love it.
I'm gonna show this. Everyone is super upset with my favorite movies of the year list because of where is it? There it is.
Cloverfield Paradox. Yeah. I actually didn't hate that movie emotionally.
Yay! I fucking love. Yeah, Raul doesn't like. Raul, I didn't even get to talk to you about this yet. They just announced that Overlord isn't going to be a Cloverfield movie.
They're doing the stupid mystery box again.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Well, they said that they're actually working on a dedicated Cloverfield sequel. So,
okay.
So it'll probably actually be
better than
a real sequel.
Yeah, yes, a real sequel.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, for me, worst movies of the year so far, and these both movies, Troy loves them. A Wrinkle in Time and Cloverfield Paradox are those 2 movies I have hated this year.
Wrinkle in Time was fine. I didn't hate it. My bottom list, where is it? There it is. Red Sparrow, Tomb Raider, Death Wish made it up there, Mom and Dad. So it's all just I didn't hate any of them, but they just weren't anything special.
Yeah, I had no interest in seeing Death Wish at all.
You don't want to see white man get revenge?
Wait, Death Wish was a lot of fun for me. Of course, it's not a great movie, but that was a pretty fun movie.
Mm-hmm. It was entertaining.
Jason, I'm just gonna tell you one scene. There's a scene when Bruce Willis goes on YouTube to how to use a gun, how to delete history on the internet, and not to be tracked by the FBI. And he's seen all of that on YouTube.
What the fuck?
Wait, if that scene doesn't interest you, I don't know what is.
Oh my god, that sounds incredibly stupid.
It's so stupid. It's such a dumb movie.
It's a pretty dumb movie. Even Vincent D'Onofrio, his character is stupid.
He's so bad. Yeah.
That movie. That's why I don't consider it a bad movie, because I was so entertained. But yeah, it's bad. Even that scene when he's seeing the commercial for buying a gun, and as if you want a gun, ask for Bethany. Yes, Jason. Just that Bethany commercial. That's the movie past price of admission.
Oh my god!
But yeah.
Oh wow.
But yeah, with that being said, I wanna just thank you guys for joining us on today's show. I guess we can wrap it up. Raul and I have a couple of special announcements to make. Before we get into that, let's start with Jason. Where can we find you? Where do you have your YouTube channel that's still active? I'll make sure everything's in the description for people to read. But feel free, you have the floor, pitch what you want, or let us know where we can find you.
Okay, well, my Twitter is jmickeyfilms, or I guess I should say at jmickeyfilms. But yeah, I'm very, very active on there. Probably more than I should be.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. And I haven't been active on my YouTube channel a while, but since I'm doing short films again, I'm going to be coming back on there soon. And that is Doombox. Don't mistaken it for another channel named Doombox that I found years after making that name. But then yeah, also I happen to have a Vero account too. So
sweet.
I mean, you probably can't put that in the description or anything, but just to let everyone know, I happen to have one. So
awesome, man. Well, no, thank you again for joining us. And I know we want to talk later about film because I want to know about more of these projects that you're working on because they're fascinating, especially the Misery looking one. I'm very intrigued. But Chase, again, thank you. I know, Chase, I don't know where to start with you, man. you don't have Twitter, so
No, I
thanks
really do Twitter. Just I'm starting a new Instagram up. That's pretty much it, just for like my art and doing like tattoos. But
yeah, of course.
That's pretty much all I have going on. I can send you the link to put in the description. But if anybody wants tattoos drawn up, PM me. But
Exactly.
yeah. Other than that, I'm always down to come on the broadcast, man. I appreciate you. I had a lot of fun actually talking to you guys.
Well, it's fun, man. And Chase, like, it's been almost a year since you came down, because he moved away from, like, he used to live near me and he moved, so you got to come back, or I have to come see you, either or.
Yeah, whatever works, man. Me and the wife have a house, but I can always come down whenever. We'll figure something out.
Beautiful.
Go see some movies.
Of course. Now, Raul, I think it's that bittersweet part of the show.
Oh yeah, we had to do it.
Oh boy.
Oh, all right. Well, this is the last episode of the Monday show.
The finale.
The finale. Just a quick backstory on why we decided to do this. It's scheduling. Honestly, that's what it is. It's scheduling. Committing to Monday every week was a challenge, and getting guests to record was a challenge. And that's what we want from this channel. We want, it's fun when Raul and I talk and theorize and do it, and we still are. We're not going anywhere. Trust us. We're going to be back. But we want more opinions. We want diversity. We want a little bit more on this channel. So if you're listening to this and you like talking about movies, reach out, and we will get you on for a conversation. We're going to take a couple weeks off, and we're going to rebrand everything. We have a bunch of new changes coming up, so stay tuned for those. Reactions, our main podcast, everything will continue. But yeah, we're going to take a couple weeks, like I said, just to rebrand things, figure scheduling out a little bit. But this has been fun, man. It's like chapter 1 is now complete, and chapter 2 is about to begin, and it's awesome. And Raul, thank you so much for doing all this with me. It's been a blast.
It's also, like I said last September when we started this, I didn't expect that kid that I met in Comic-Con to say, hey, do you want to do a podcast together? I was like, that's a good idea. And also, this podcast helped me to go through surviving here in LA. I'm almost going to be also 1 year here living in July. And so this podcast also helped me I have survived LA for 1 year.
You survived. I've heard nothing but crap living in LA, so that is something that you should take proudly.
Also, technically, of all of the things that happen in LA, me and Troy, we have talked in private. That's a thing that I want to do, because for me, life and all of that crap, I have never started to do more things that I want to do, because I want to be also a filmmaker and everything. And I even working, I was having a crazy idea for a pilot for a TV show. And since I told Troy my idea 2 weeks ago, my head is still adding more stuff. And I'm like, that's the thing that I'm going to do this summer. I'm going to try to write a TV pilot, because I have this great idea for a TV show.
I told you, man. We're not going to say anything because it's something I want to develop with him. But the idea he has for a TV show is amazing, and we're going to write it, and it's going to be in development. So, like I said, we have so much things on the go, so many things we want to do. Who knows? If I win the lottery, I might just come and move in with Raul, and we can have an actual set. Can you imagine? That would be amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I even said it to him, if I win the lottery, I'm going to bring Troy and a lot of my friends that I want to bring. I want to make my own studio. I want to make my own studio of all of the people.
I'm telling you, Raul, I will be your white slave. I will. I'm okay with it. I will. You will be my... I will just take the blame. You could just slave me around. It's fine. I'll clean.
You will be my Michael Caine. You will be my Alfred.
But yeah, man, this is fun. So yeah, we're shooting for Deadpool 2, right? That week of Deadpool 2 is when we're going to first show. If you look on our Twitter, we've already started kind of branding some ideas out, just testing out. So yeah, follow us on there. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, Stardust, anywhere I could talk about movies. That's where I am, at Troy Loxton. Raul, I'm going to let you finish this off. I'll stay quiet. As soon as you're done, I'll stop the broadcast. It's all yours.
You can find
Thank you, everyone.
You can find me on Instagram, on Stardust, Twitter, Raul Vader RDC. And it was a great season. Technically, like I said, from September to May, technically it was like a TV season. This was pretty cool. And I'm so excited for the future. And also, thank you, Jason, for coming. Also, Chase. And
also, thank you to everyone listening. Everyone that wants to hear me and Raul gossip and shit talk about movies. Like, we're doing it for fun. Sorry, that's all I wanted to say.
Also, like I said, I didn't expect it for a Canadian and Mexican to be so good. They have really good chemistry talking about movies.
Hey, I'm not American. We want. If you ask Chase, Canadians all about bringing people in. I'm not America. I'm not trying to shoot you out. We're all about.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Open arms. Come and get some.
I'm American. I'm on the show, so go ahead.
And also, we did all of this of changing the show because even sometimes it's pretty difficult doing this every Monday. So that's why we change it. And we're so excited for the guest spotlight in 3 weeks. Bye-bye.